old Mac's background.
We are now unmuted. Hooray! Welcome to Bela'Dun and Beyond.
Oh wait, I need to
Hello,
mute this.
stream.
Oh god,
Hi, stream.
I stream.
I just heard everything shout like, "Hey!" like 80.
Hello.
Yeah,
million
mute
times
Twitch
over.
if you're on Twitch. Hey, everybody. We're going to do a thing. So my understanding from what Ulrich said earlier is that Lucy is the recap and Ulrich is the notes. Is that the case?
Yes.
Yeah, fabulous. Let me just
I am
fuck with some
recap
cams
this
here because it's never fucking right like I need it to be. But for those of you on the Twitch, I have a big reveal. Everyone ready? Everyone ready for this? See Twitch?
It's not loading.
See the Twitch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're going to get it late. Here we go!
Yeah.
Hooray!
I can't
Oh
see anything.
shit! Is that you?
Yeah, boy, that's all of us.
Here we go. Oh, hell yeah.
I'm really late to the party. I'm not even there yet.
That's fine. Even the Twitch is delayed. I don't know if it's gonna like. I'll be like, here you go, and it'll be like 30 seconds later that they actually see everything.
It's
For,
awesome.
for those of you that can't load into Twitch yet, I had some character art commissioned,
Ooh.
and I'll send you
I
all
got
your individual things. I used a guy called Alex Gavrilas on Fiverr. He was a really nice guy. And yeah, I've got individual images for everybody. They're PNGs, so we can put our own
Shit,
backgrounds
that's
on
so
them and
cool.
shit. I'm really happy with
That is
basically
so cool.
everyone's except I would say Asteros. He did as best he could on Asteros. Obviously he entirely designed it.
Oh my
because
God,
I
it just
sort of
loaded in.
gave
That
him
looks so cool.
information.
Astros looks a bit miserable, isn't he?
Yeah,
Or
well,
is that-
I'm kind of fine with that. He looks a bit angry. He was a bit like hunched in his neck at one point, but I had him change that out, so that was cool. He looks a bit taller now. I've made everyone roughly the same height, just for the sake of having you all like visible, because if I shrink you down anymore, you really lose the detail.
So cool.
But yeah, I'm really happy with how they came out. I had to send him a picture of me, because obviously I don't have a character or a description, so I just sent him a picture of my face, and I was like, if you can make it look a little bit like that, that'll be cool. And I'm really happy with it. He did a great job.
That's-
Awesome.
Hell
Now,
yeah.
Mayor, I will say
Very
that we
cool.
were a little uncertain on your clothing, whether or not you'd like it. You described it as red and black, and I like
It looks awesome.
he fully designed it and everything, so we were really happy with. I was really happy with how it came out. I'm hoping you are. But yeah, there's a lot of detail. There was a bit of editing on my part. I made a few changes. I think I changed Vice's face just slightly. I think that's all I did for Vice. We did a couple things on your one, Sevi, didn't we?
I completely didn't notice I've also got the black hand. Like the
You've not
wrist.
only have you got the black hand, you've got the scales, you've got both coloured gloves.
I
I
love
didn't-
that so
He had a
much.
beard.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
a
yeah,
little
Taran's
beardy.
got a beard.
Little beardy.
Oh, Taran's a grown man.
I am a 31-year-old man.
30.
Vice has a frying pan on his hip.
Yeah, that
I
was
had
a
that
that was a
grand
cool
yeah.
revision.
I have 2 swords. That's awesome.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Where's the third, damn it?
It's down my trouser leg, probably.
That's so awesome.
That's so
That's very
cool.
cool.
So yeah, we have
What was,
that
the name,
now.
what was the name of the person? Sorry. Who
His
did it?
name's Alex Gavrilas. He did it, I would say, fairly cheap. I paid about £9 to £10 per picture after I included a tip. That's very cheap considering it's
The quality
custom
of them.
like character art. I mean, put it this way: there's people on Fiverr saying that they'll do your one character for like £100. I've seen some really expensive ones. So yeah, like £10 a picture. I was really happy with it.
I actually really like yours, Josh.
Mm,
I really
me
like
too.
yours.
Me
Yeah.
too.
You look kind of like a Sith master.
I basically said to
probably.
him, I'm going for like Ezio's like hood, but black. And then this is a picture of me. Do what you can. And he did.
He
So-
still looks a bit like. Do you know what I mean?
it totally
Still
looks like me.
it.
It's a
Yeah.
much better looking version of me, but I will take it.
Very serious. That's so cool.
Oh man, that's really cool, man. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I love the development of just everything to do with the Twitch.
Yeah.
You know,
It looks
just
so awesome.
I think we're at a really
It really
like
does.
clean,
you know, so-
professional looking bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're professionals. But followers.
We've
You
got
know,
two
it's-
viewers. Let's go.
It's fantastic. No, but honestly, Josh, well done. You've done a great job.
Cheers, man.
Brilliant. Honestly.
Well done.
Wow.
I'll send you all your individual pictures. I'll just send them all to everyone. I'll put them in the group afterwards, and you guys can see them in a
Amazing.
bit more detail. For now, for the benefit of Vinod and Rhoda, our viewers, Lucy, do you want to do the recap?
Indeed, I do. A second. Right.
I'll find music in the meantime.
D&D, session 50. We
Oh yeah, it
continue
was
our
session
search.
50.
It's
And I'm
51
going to
today.
come off
It is
Twitch
51
now,
today,
so
but
I
yeah,
won't be
milestone.
anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
We
if you are
continue-
still on Twitch, you need to pause it. Sorry, Lucy.
It's okay, I close. We continue our search as tiny peoples, and we find a closed door that we have to work our way through. And once doing so, we investigate 2 further rooms while a spider hunts us down. Arezia does an awesome anime sword glide down a table. I have in brackets.
Thank you
Yes, I
very
do.
much. Very important
Yeah.
part of the story.
Very. And then it instantly downs Taryn. We defeat the spider eventually. Rest and Vice and Arasia investigate further on, while the rest of the party rests up. They find mini carvings of us on a table, and when we touch them, we return to our normal size. So Taryn goes apeshit and destroys her cauldron, summoning her to us, and Vice goes on a rampage, throwing chairs and boxes and tables, and covers Taryn in unidentified white powder. Brackets flour.
Hopefully.
More flour, I think it was,
Hopefully.
maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Bone meal. Ew.
Yeah, I think it was more bone meal.
We win the fight and collect our spoils. Vice is attacked by a book. End of session.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
Excellent.
fair enough.
you.
I think
Go.
about covers it.
Very good.
Oh, I'm
Don't
really
know if I
pissed
missed
off on
anything.
the offset of the cams. Sorry. Skype is
This
such a bitch.
Hmm.
I'm now even more upset that it's bone meal and not flour.
So Taryn/Ulrich is doing the notes for this one, so that's all we need. Thank you for the recap. I have done classic me and not opened anything to do with the session. Bear with me. I've got my dice.
Our professional DM.
Yeah. I was busy making reveals happen. Oh, good. Right. Excel. Do not open on the right screen. It's opening on the right screen. There we go. Stupid ass Excel. There we go. Okay, cool. So, I think I worked out earlier when I was doing the planning of this session that it's been, I want to say 2 or 3 months approximately since you guys left Stalvin, and I think it's been like almost 2 years since you met approximately. Obviously the time that you've known Astros and Oresia is about the same time that you've been out in out of Stalvin, shall we say.
Also, Taryn.
And Taryn, yep, that's true, sorry. I just assume you were part of the group because you had previous characters.
My collective time.
You'll
has
notice
been
there aren't like
amazing.
2 more smaller people with like X's on them on the artwork. They're just forgotten about now. I finally worked out what happened to Elkus today, so that'll be interesting if we reach that. I don't think we will. But yeah, he now has a future. Or does he?
Oh, don't do that.
In the grave.
If you make me have to kill my old character,
I should have done that. So, in
That's
terms of timeline, for the notes, I suppose, it is Sarah 26, so 26th of Sarah. Each season is 2.5 months, so we're nearing the end of summer. Good time for war. In the time that you guys have been sort of just marching on, or the group have been marching on, I'm going to move them up just slightly. I know we're about to... Oh god, this wasn't a complete arrow. I thought it was. Going to move this up just a little bit. Because there has been some time where they've moved on but tried to not leave where you left, essentially. The main military force has moved up a little bit. I should probably drag you back to the Hag's Home map, but I fully deleted it. So, you're in the Hag's Home still. That's where we left off. I will say, so that I can delete this line of my notes, Oresia, if you at any point reach into your pocket, you will find 8 small splinters.
Okay.
I don't know whether or not they'll possibly penetrate your skin or just gather on your outer armor.
My
But-
torches that are useless.
That's correct, yes. You can remove those. Well, you made
No,
10, but you burnt 2.
I now have 8 toothpicks. It's fine.
They're definitely splinters. Sizable splinters, but like at your current height, splinters.
I'm still got to find a use for him.
Somehow.
Right, I'm not throwing him away.
If you, I'll tell you what. Give me a sleight of hand roll, please. First roll of the night.
Oh, okay. Oh God, I don't have my sheet open. Hang on. Oh no, I do. Hang on. I have it on my desktop.
Can I give her guidance?
No. It takes 6 seconds, and like she's just fumbling about with some crap. Oh, I kind of want a
Hey.
background, like ooh, choose background effect. Oh God, it's ruined everything. Okay, I'll do it later. For a moment, I'm like the middle of the screen, and it's definitely going to split my face into 4 across everyone else's face.
Yeah.
I'm loving the backgrounds. This is great.
Oh yeah.
5.
I'm gonna
Okay,
try-
so-
I don't have any preset ones.
Oh, I just downloaded them.
Oh,
You just saved some images somewhere.
Yeah.
Good
So
shout.
as you describe where we're going,
We'll see how like how much foresight you have. Okay, so Aresia, hopefully you can still hear us. You lose 5 of your 8 splinters, fumbling about with them. So you have 3 sizable splinters remaining. If you're ever shrunk again, 3 torches.
I'm gonna find a use for these splinters.
Okay.
They're in my inventory.
There's gonna be a point where you find like the BBG and the whole thing, and he's at like 1 HP, and with your like sword to his neck, you just put it in its scabbard, pull out 3 splinters, and just like slowly push them into his eye or something.
I was gonna pick that one. That's silly.
Oh, nice. Also very apt. I mean, Max's is more accurate given that you guys are still in the home.
I'm outside.
Not yet, you're not. So you've all got various items. There was a ring of poison resistance. There was a thing that I'm forgetting. And there was the grotesque book of
I
cooking.
took the ring.
You had, yeah, Nemea definitely has the ring. What was the third thing? I feel like it was a potion. Come on, guys. Don't make me go back to session
There
50.
was another room that I'm pretty sure we didn't go
I
in.
got
but was next
alchemist
to me.
things.
Alchemist supplies. Thank you. It wasn't a potion. It was alchemist supplies. So there was one remaining room. For the sake of the fact that I accidentally deleted the map, it was a bedroom, and it didn't have anything in it. It was south of the room that you fought the hag in. It just had beds. So
Because I was being miserable in a barrel next to it.
yes. So as you guys are currently, I'm just gonna turn the music down a little bit. It is a little bit loud. As you guys are out of combat, free to proceed how you want, you find yourself in the seeming safety, temporary safety of this hag's home, safe in the assumption that you have likely killed both of the hags that resided here. You find in the bedroom, unlike those that saw the GM layer last session, in the bedroom there's only 2 large beds. Forget what the map showed you. And it seems like perhaps at some point 2 people, fiends, creatures resided here. One, if it were to be both the hags, one died in the underground cave that you guys then caved in quite adeptly, and one died most recently when you, I believe, Aresia stabbed her in the face or something along those lines.
Stabbed her in many places.
Yeah, I think it was Aresia that got the final blow. My notes start with as the group rejoin the main force. So, is there anything you guys want to do before we get to the actual session?
I would very much go up to Vice, just tap him on the shoulder as he's looking at stuff and be like, clean up your mess, please.
Are you serious, Taryn?
I
Covered.
If anything, I should have made more of a mess.
would like to just quickly search for anything like clothing or anything like that that might have come from the privates that have gone missing to bring back to see if I can find any to any of them.
Okay, Aresia, give me an investigation roll. I'm going to go get more Disaronno, so BRB. I'm going to leave my headset because otherwise it cuts out, and I don't know whether... Actually, I'll tell you what. Vin, you're, I believe, still in the thing. Tell me if the audio just entirely goes off in a moment. Until then, I can hear all of you.
Our old
Roll a 6.
he can't hear us.
I heard a 6.
Oh,
My
He's just
internet isn't
thinking about-
working at all.
Sorry, did he want us to roll initiative? Sorry, or what was it?
What did you want?
No,
us
he
to
wanted
roll?
me to
Initiative?
roll.
No, I want...
You want Aresia to roll investigation. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. You know.
Vin, is Josh's audio cutting in and out? Oh, is
Livia's
everyone's
talking to the tree.
coming in and out? I'm so.
It's Discord. It's Discord.
Amy says it's Discord.
Well, Sevi
It
does not
is.
get affected by the movement. Like, you know, everything is perfect. But me, I've had to brush my hair up more just so it would stop cutting me off.
How do you get it? I want to do it.
It's like
So
part of
just
Skype now. You just
right click on your picture on
Yeah.
Skype where your video is, and it will give you the option to choose a background effect.
It
And then
must.
you'll have options at the bottom there. Choose your
I
background
think-
effect.
I
Add an
think
image.
there was an update or something because I don't have it at all.
Yeah, well, yeah, but starting it up should have put the update on.
Not at all.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, it
Right,
was a
till next
6.
time.
Aresia, you oh, hang on. Yep, it's cut out. I can hear Sevi, Vice,
I mean,
but Auric was cutting out.
I
We're
can't
back
do
now
that, yeah.
Josh is... Okay,
Doesn't make
good.
sense.
Good to know. Thank you, Vin. So next time when I go away, I'll leave my headset here so that the audio doesn't cut in and out. Aresia, you search for any sort of remnants of the previous privates that were sent out or that wandered slightly too far. You don't find any clothing. What you do find, as you slowly make your way around the room where you fought the hag, is other small carvings. Much like your ones. Obviously, you guys all took your individual carvings.
Can I take those?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So you have, well, I would say you see about 4 or 5 individual carvings. I would assume, given the number there, that the hag isn't keeping all of them. She probably at some point gets rid of them, chucks them, cuts them up, does whatever. But there aren't as many as there were people that disappeared. But you get a handful.
Do I recognise the handful I have? Do I recognise the figures?
Their faces are pretty small on the carvings and not perfect detail. But they match the races and the genders of those that have gone missing.
Okay.
I want to just sort of, I turn around quite fed up and I want to go into a room that's unoccupied and just be like, I'm going to do something back in a moment. Don't worry about any noises. And I want to cast Wall of Water and then walk through it.
You're not knocking one out. Cool. So I'm going to go do something in a separate room. Don't worry about the noises.
This is a family
Loud
show.
rush of water.
I'm just reading Wall of Water. Has this fire attack roll? Fire damage halved. The fire of the spells that deal cold damage that pass through will cause the area of the wall they pass through to freeze. Okay.
I'm using it for the most utility.
You're cleaning
bullshit.
yourself, yeah.
Yes.
It's an incredibly high level spell.
What are you doing? You're cleaning yourself.
Yes. Because
You know-
I told
you
you
know-
to clean up your mess and you refused to do so.
You know, I could have just done it if I just precipitation.
I feel like it's worth pointing out that Wall of Water is like 20 feet in diameter, 20 feet high. You're probably going to flood this house. It's like 30 feet long. Like
you see water coming under the door.
you have a choice of 30 feet, 10 feet high, 1 foot thick in a wall shape, or you can make like a dome that's 20 feet high and 20 feet in diameter, 1 foot thick.
That's a
So
lot.
you're definitely going to flood the entire house if you do this.
Come and ask me to clean you, mate. Come on.
I asked you. You said no.
No, you didn't ask me to clean up. You clean you. You asked me to clean up the mess.
I said clean up your mess and I pointed at me because you put all your mess on me.
Because he's covered in white.
Did you,
Here's the
did you
powder.
point at
He threw stuff
yourself?
at him.
Okay, I didn't hear you say you pointed at yourself. I thought you were pointing at the mess that I had made in the place.
I just go like, I'm covered in, and I take a little bit and I just sort of put a bit on my tongue and I'm like, it's not flour. Don't know what it is. It's not good.
Come back in here. Come on, come here.
Thank you.
Let me do that for you.
There's a white bar at the bottom of the map and it's upsetting.
Prestidigitation and clean up Ulrich. I mean,
Taryn.
Taryn. Pardon me.
Who the fuck is Ulrich?
I mean, yeah.
It's a good
Okay.
name.
Yeah.
So,
Sounds weird.
Taryn,
man.
the white dust, kind of covering you, like lifts and dissipates into the updraft of the casting of prestidigitation. Seems to dissipate into nothingness, and you are unsoiled once more.
Thank you. And then I just sort of like peek over and just be like, "Nice book. What is that?"
Well, I mean, it was that weird book, the one that was on the desk earlier on, that was way too big to even lift a page. But it seems to be some form of demonic culinary book. But even
So
though
I didn't touch the fucky thing this time.
you didn't. It also, oh shit, didn't it affect me?
Yeah, it definitely affected you.
It did.
You-
Yeah.
You rolled a d4,
I lost,
and you permanently
minus
lost
1
1
for-
HP.
I lost HP.
Yeah. So you have a permanent reduction in health. 1 HP
Yes.
lost. It could have been 4, but you rolled
Yeah.
a 1 on the d4.
Sure.
But in exchange for that necromantic sacrifice, you learned the identify spell.
I did.
You don't prep spells, do you?
I do not.
Good, because I was going to say it's perma prep, but it's not relevant to you. So you have access to that spell now. As I think we discussed last session, it basically allows you to cast a spell and discern the magic nature of an item. You can also cast it as a ritual, but it takes 10 minutes, and that way you don't waste a spell slot.
Well, I need a pearl that's worth 100 gold.
Yes.
Or an alfeather, apparently.
No, the alfeather.
And an alfeather.
So you only ever need the items that have, because you have a spell focus, you only ever need the items that have a cost value.
Okay, sure.
But because the spell doesn't consume them, they last forever. And then we were going to check whether or not you did actually need it. Do I need the material component if the spell doesn't consume it? Because the ruling on whether or not you need the material component, I thought, was if it has a gold value. But then I've since, I believe, learned that if it doesn't consume it, you don't need it. The spell doesn't consume unless its script says, for example, the pearl required by the ancestor isn't consumed, whereas the diamond required by race dead is used up. Carry on, I'll check this. So you have that book. It's in the journal how it works.
Yep, I've got it anyway. Got the old card, guys.
Nice.
All right. Sweet. So, Lieutenant, are we ready to leave?
Well, there's nothing else keeping us here. If you've all finished your business, let's report back.
Yes. I mean, once, at least it'll be a successful report.
Well, we haven't brought back anyone alive, which is a shame. But I think it's safe to assume what's happened.
Yes, we have
Right.
evidence, so at least we can officially say it is a successful mission, nonetheless.
Yes. Well done, all of you, again, for making it through relatively unscathed. We're all heading back, at least. Okay, off we go.
Hurrah! Let's get out of here, please.
Okay. Firstly, I will say, if the spell has a gold value, you need it, but it's only consumed if the spell says it's consumed. So yes, you do need that pearl, I'm going to say, but once you have that pearl, you don't need to keep replacing it on each cast of the spell, you just have it permanently.
Wonderful.
But yeah, you do need it to be able to cast the spell.
That's okay. I got plenty of dollar.
So, you guys head to the large wooden door.
No, I don't.
You guys head to
And
the
all
large
on
wooden door
fucking
that was
potions.
once part of a tree. Obviously, you did have some issues like using this door when you shrunk down, but now you go over to it, you're able to push it open happily enough. It barely takes any strength at all. You find yourselves opening out into the same forest that you entered. You haven't strangely moved like you had with the mage's tower that you came across, though which mage you don't know.
No, go back.
Oh, we're in the forest now.
Oh, we're in the forest now.
Yes, you have just left the hag's house.
We're in the forest.
So you know the rough direction that you need to go to head back to. The like coat blending into your thing, Max, every now and then made sense when it was like a tavern, but now that it's the forest, it like just looks weird.
It's my cape.
Is it
that.
daytime or is it nighttime?
It is
Oh,
midday.
that's fine. Totally
Oh,
fine.
okay.
Why are
The
you
tracking,
trying?
Scope's tracking is so bad. So you guys know the rough direction that you came from, and roughly how long it took you to get here. You can travel back that distance happily enough if you want to.
Ooh.
It's moonlight.
Yes.
That's twilight, isn't it? Moonlight. Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Are you guys doing anything other than rejoining the military?
No.
I can't think of anything that I need to do, so...
Karen's knocking one out.
Well, Darren's knocking the moon one out. Which hand are you using, Darren?
Which glove?
You know
Which glove?
exactly which one.
Which glove?
No, I switched them both out.
It's like
See,
milking a
now
cow. Aresia, do you want to do anything specific? Now it's awkward, makes it one step awkward.
Where are we? Are we back with the army, or are we...
You're about to be. Is there anything you want to do before you rejoin them properly?
No.
Okay.
No.
Solid response. So it takes you
Nah.
guys a couple hours to rejoin the main force of the military. You end up sort of seeing them at a distance and slowing your not your charge, but slowing your pace so that you can just catch up with them happily enough. As I say, it takes some time. It's about a little bit gone midday by the time you fully rejoin them. But you start to hear murmurs of a previous task force, a previous group being sent out, having returned in your absence. As you continue to walk and eventually catch up to the main thoroughfare of the military marching towards the centre of the Wandering Wood, you get some confirmation on some of these rumours. And essentially it's been confirmed that of the two, of the two, like, squadrons that we spoke about last session or possibly the session before that, two went out because they found wood elves on the fringes of the Starving Military's march. Two squadrons were sent out. One of them had successfully killed... Nice. One of them had successfully killed the wood elves they were going after and returned. And the other one was still pursuing an unknown number of wood elves into the forest with the intention of taking them down so that information about the military forces was not leaked back to the elven capital. and then returning. It's that second group that has since returned. The march goes on for the majority of the day, and it's pretty much evening before you guys have a chance to really confirm the ins and outs of what that squadron discovered, and what new news there is on the grapevine. Is there anything you guys want to do before we jump to sort of evening time?
Sorry, have I reported during this spell the what happened to the mages who gave me the task?
Yeah, you're free to if you want to, early enough that it would be far before the evening. You know, that could be your first task, having regrouped.
Yeah, okay. So that's what I'd want to do. I'd want to go and report to the mages what happened and show them the little figurines. And then once that report is done, I want to go and collect... What name did I give? Charlotte? Charlotte the chicken from Hiscas.
Okay, perfect. So let's roll for Hiscas. Let's see how good a chicken man he is. He's going to have advantage because he was...
He made her lay an egg.
Yep. He's from the farm. So he is there. He kind of sees you coming over. And as you start to approach the group, you can see he's sitting slightly closer to the group now, almost as if they've started to, like, not so much take him in, but definitely not shove him out as much as they were before. He's mostly off to the side, sitting with the chicken, and Agatha's just kind of chill next to him, kind of resting. He sees you coming up, and he goes to stand up to greet you, but sees that he has to sort of wake Agatha to do so. So he sort of half stops himself, and then goes about it a bit slower, lifts her up like from both sides under the wings, and picks her up and kind of tries to hand her over to you so that she doesn't wake up.
Oh.
And he's just like,
Aw.
it was easy enough, Lieutenant. I assume you're here to collect?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much. She looks quite happy and content with you. I must say-
I had a lot of time with this sort of thing.
Oh, well, I must say, Private Hiscas, you never fail to impress me. I can say without a doubt you are definitely one of the most trustworthy and competent comrades I've had in a while. So I trust, should I need it, I'll be able to call on you again.
Oh, of course. Just that was and competent, right?
Of course, you haven't let me down yet. I asked you to,
Yes, yeah.
you know, sort the horse situation out for me, and you did. You've
Just-
looked after this chicken, and you've done well. You've done well, Private.
Well, thank you very much. It was hardly a task at all. She was very, very content and easy to look after, and he kind of like is holding her the whole time. You can see his shaking is starting to wake her a little bit, and she starts to like prop
Oh.
up a little bit.
All right, so I'll just take her, or try and bundle her away from him, and say, "Good afternoon, Gabriella. Well done. Well done. We'll bring you back to Hiscas soon. Next time we need a babysitter."
And he looks back and he kind of goes, "Oh, this is yours too." And he like picks up an egg and then goes to hand it to you.
Oh, marvelous! Thank you very much. Well, good day, Private Hiscas.
And you, Lieutenant, thank you.
Then I leave.
Okay. Anybody else want to do anything in the day? Livia?
No, I'm all good. Am I with these guys or am I separate?
You're with the group. Aresia went off separately to
Okay.
turn in her report and then collect Agatha.
Yeah. So no, I'm just waiting.
Okay, Vice, you doing anything before the evening?
Is his cast around?
Yeah, I mean, he works here.
Can I go and see him, please?
Yeah, sure. So, Aresia returns with Agatha without much hassle, and expressing like a desire to go find Hiscas. She
Hang on.
points you in the
His-
right
oh,
direction.
God, not fucking.
You want Kristen.
Kristen. Sorry. Thank
That's a
you.
different guy.
Had a feeling.
That's fine. So, yeah, you can find Kristen. You have to ask around a little bit, but eventually... Oh, sorry, no, Kristen's gone.
Oh yeah, he went back.
He
didn't
left you.
Oh yeah.
He couldn't carry the cart this far or any of his like goods, so he had to go back with the force that returned to Starvin.
Okay, never mind. I'll see him another time.
If he lives.
I'm sure. you wouldn't let Kristen die.
I mean, he's
Oh,
going
that's
through a
not-
pretty rough forest and then pretty rough
Hey.
path that's not the main path before he gets back to Starvin. And also, I know what's coming, so...
Kristen he's got mad skills. He will survive anything.
He's got many items. Probably got a few potions of
He
invisibility.
does.
Okay, Taryn, you doing anything?
I'm just sort of sat there, just looking at my scrolls, just thinking about how I could do better.
Nemea, do you want to
Wow.
do anything?
Nope, I'm doing my like usual like stitching up kind of broken things and fixing holes and tears from the battles, that kind
Okay.
of.
Cool. So, as the hours kind of pass by and the march continues onwards, you guys get ever closer and closer to what is approximately the center of the Wandering Wood. Rumors of this squadron that returned recently that had been gone for quite some while circulate throughout the encampment for some time. The military never really wanting to make a proper full-on stop. It's more a case of sleep rough whilst most people take watch and then switch that out the following evening. So people are generally marching on one night's rest for every 2 days. The intention is that there'll be a quick rest up before the final skirmish. But for now, it's pretty heavy going. You're moving almost all the time. However, on the same evening, it is this night that you all are given the freedom to rest up. And generally, the Suicide Squad, or whatever you guys have called yourself, what was it?
The Wardens of Dusk.
Wardens of Dusk. Generally, the Wardens of Dusk are not... what's the word? Are not relied upon to take a successful watch, regardless of your success within the military so far, Aresia, that would extend to you. However, as Asteros is holding up his side of the march, and generally I feel like this is a terrible pose for you, that like if we were more popular this would fully be a gif right now.
But we're not, so don't worry.
You'll be fine. Vinod definitely won't turn that into anything.
Extends to Aresia. Aresia
It
is
would
a pro.
extend to Aresia. However, Asteros is pulling your two's collective side of keeping watch whenever it's necessary. So they pretty much leave you alone to oversee the Wardens of Dusk. As this sleep cycle reaches the evening, it's before you're looking to fully go to sleep, rough though it is, and a shitty night's sleep, that you get the full information back from this squadron. Finally, the rumours are abated, and it seems that some conversations at a higher level have been had, and as a result, clear information comes through. So, what
I forget that I'm on camera sometimes. Yeah.
I didn't even see what you were doing this time. All I kept seeing was Sevi's reactions, and I was like, I don't know what that's to, so I'm going to ignore it.
Doing his whole mouth inside, it was brilliant.
So the information,
God.
it's fine. Nobody's watching. It'll be like Amy's GIF.
Oh,
Okay. You know Adam will make that gif.
I really hope he does.
GIF, whatever they're called. Yeah.
As what's to be understood is that this second group went out, and much like Asteros and Nemea in the past, managed to capture a wood elf. However, unlike Asteros and Nemea, they managed to get him to talk for quite an extended period of time. So much so, and for the explanation for the duration of their time away from the main military force, that this wood elf basically sang non-stop until he was assassinated by his own people, likely for giving away so many secrets. The understanding, the sort of summarization of the information that the squadron got from this wood elf is that supposedly some time ago, and we're talking like months upon months upon months upon months, like close to a year if not more, a heavily armored human came to a place called Silver Tomb. It's understood that Silver Tomb is what the elves are calling their capital, and until now this is an unknown name for the elven capital. It's groundbreaking enough that the location now has a confirmation of what the elves call it. There was always some Silver Tomb. I'll put it in the Roll20. There was always some suspicion that within the Wandering Wood lied the elven capital that did not have a homestead anywhere else. Sorry, Auric, I've really fucked you for writing the notes this week. It's going to be a heavy one. Yeah, you're muted, so that didn't...
I'm gonna make it vague.
You're muted.
You did it before Max.
Session's not over yet.
How does it feel? You're the only other person.
so this is the elf capital.
I don't know what you mean by this is. What do you...
So Silver
Silver
Tomb
Tomb.
is
Yeah, so the name of the elven
I'm just
capital...
checking I'm not misunderstanding.
No, that's
anything.
perfect. That's fine. I thought you were going to ping on the map or something.
Oh no.
Silver Tomb is the
it's
name...
like that. Okay.
Yeah, it's spelled like that. Silver Tomb is the name of the elven capital. I'm sure you spell it differently, but this is how they spell it.
Yeah.
It is the home of the elves of the Wandering Wood. There's an important distinction here in that elves can be found throughout Bela'Dun, but those kind of specifically a part of this forest haven have seemingly undergone the agreement that if they are to be part of Silver Tomb, that they don't speak of it. It's like Fight Club. And that's why nobody's heard of it outside of this. There is an oath that goes into this knowledge, which is that it's not to be shared with outsiders. So the idea
What was
that...
it you said about the man? Sorry, you said something about human
Fine, that's
man.
what I'm getting to. So the idea that this heavily armoured human would even come to Silver Tomb is incredibly unheard of, because you would need to be an elf just to start with to even be entertained. You'd still be turned away as an outsider, but you'd expect them to execute anyone more than that. Anyway, the information goes on to say that some time ago, heavily armored human came to Silvertomb. It's the home of the elves of the Wandering Wood. He offered power to everyone that opposed him at the time, until eventually
Opposed him.
That's right. So as the elves did not greet him and opposed him, rather than kill them, he offered them power, and he kept making this promise until eventually he stood before the council. Again, this is something that does not exist in common knowledge. Firstly, the fact that the elves do in fact have a capital, which was guessed about. Secondly, that it's called Silvertomb and fully exists. Thirdly, that there is some sort of
There's a council.
governing council amidst Silvertomb, yeah. So, supposedly what this man promised was the ability to decimate the forces of any who opposed them and the elven capital. And as such, the council agreed that they would go along with the ritual that this man proposed. This is all information that this elven fellow had before he was killed by his own men. The squadron that held him for a solid sort of day or so, and this wasn't a friendly chat. It was an interrogation that involved him probably not living much of a life if he hadn't been executed. However, it was confirmed from what this guy said that at the same time as I've put order here. At the same time that the man was offering this ritual, and once he had the trust and the relationship with the council, several spies were sent out to sow unrest across Bela'Dun, across all of Bela'Dun. They were all elven spies, as is the nature of those who dwell in Silvertomb. However, one was far more successful than the rest, and that was Grimnir Wormjaw, the advisor to the king in South Stalvin, which is what eventually caused the outlawing of magic in Stalvin, which is what was going on before you guys got to Stalvin, and has since been abolished before you left Stalvin. So timeline-wise, this guy has met with the council before you guys even reached Stalvin. He made some sort of deal with the Silvertomb Council, offering them power along the way, and as part of this deal, they sent out several elven spies, one of which was Grimnir Wormjaw. He infiltrated Stalvin, and that caused the abolishment of magic in Stalvin for that time period. With Stalvin in a state of unrest, and at its weakest point...
One sec.
I can paste you this whole thing if you want. You don't have to copy the whole thing down.
Well, I don't want to lose. I don't want to forget or lose any of it.
It's fine. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll go through it once quickly, and then I'll go through it again. So, with Stalvin in a state of unrest and at its weakest in centuries, as a result of Grimnir Wormjaw's work, the elves were poised to strike and make a full attack against Stalvin.
But why?
Why? But why? What do you mean?
Why are they attacking Stalvin? I thought the offer was that they would ruin anyone that came to attack them.
Mm-hmm. But
Stalvin...
as a result of the success of this spy amidst Stalvin, the elves were in a position to attack it because it was so weak. Let me finish. Okay. A number of the councils spoke out about this course of action. Literally, the next thing would have covered your thing. Not everyone was happy with the idea of simply attacking Stalvin for no reason. Those people preached that peace, or simply preached peace, rather, and that such an unwarranted attack would cause a war the likes of the wars that were predominantly kind of race wars: elves versus humans, humans versus dwarves, dwarves versus elves, dragonborn in the east. Sorry, they're in the east. And that the elves had already gone too far under this outsider's word, and that they themselves would be vulnerable if they were to leave their haven in the forest. However, regardless of those elves speaking out against this potential attack on Stalvin, they agreed to go through with this ritual, the promise of power that this man proposed. As part of this ritual, they somehow summoned and imprisoned some sort of celestial being. And upon completion of that ritual and its success, they have since been harnessing its power. Those that now oppose the elves... Hang on, those that... so the people that opposed the elves. Those that opposed the elves following the elves. Okay, I've written it a bit weird, sorry. The people that basically said no, the elves that basically said no to the war and attacking Stalvan, are still there in Silvertomb. They're still recognised as being loyal to Silvertomb first, and being a group that oppose this outsider. Unfortunately, there are a number of people on the council, and the people that oppose this outsider are not the majority. These people do not want a war with Stalvan. The people that do follow him are far fewer in number in terms of recruits, but they do outweigh the council. So if the council was 10 people, 6 are with him and 4 are against, and as a result they have a majority vote. So despite the fact that of your general citizen in Silvertomb, most are not with the outsider, they follow the rule of the council. So I've put those are the because their main force. So of the few that do follow him that are still in Silvertomb, it is even less. However, that is because on the confirmation of the interrogation of this wood elf, the main force of the Stalvan military the main force of the Silvertomb forces that are allied with this outsider have marched on Stalvan months ago. And they're likely as close to Stalvan now as Stalvan's military is to Silvertomb.
Well, that ain't good.
So, to summarize,
Shit.
a human, heavily armored outsider came to Silvertomb, the elven capital. This is unusual that he would even get a welcome close enough to speak to anyone. He promised insane power and eventually reached the council. He set up some sort of arrangement with the council, still offering power, and spies were sent out. One of them was Grimnir Wormjaw, who caused the abolishment of magic in Stalvan, which has since been abolished. Most people are against the outsider, but a majority of the council are with him. Silvertomb, most of the people in Silvertomb don't want a war with Stalvan, but a war with Stalvan has gone ahead nonetheless, and as a result, those loyal to the outsider have marched on Stalvan, much like Stalvan's forces have marched on Silvertomb. So you have this split force. Stalvan is at its weakest and about to be besieged by the forces of Silvertomb loyal to the outsider, and Silvertomb is at its weakest, about to be besieged by the main force of Stalvan.
Oh.
Okay.
Shit.
Lore dump.
Okay.
I've listed it in the recap as big lore because I'm not recapping that.
That's fine.
Oh, well, I wrote some.
Thank you. That will
Gonna be a jump in on that bit.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, how are we getting told this? Is someone just telling us all of
I feel
this?
like Asteros would probably relay this to you, having had some because he's been kind of out on watch and generally liaising with a lot of the people, and he has a slightly higher rank than your average person. He was by no means involved in the conversations that took place prior to this squadron coming back, but given that he has this information, he's come over to the group whilst on watch, dropped this information to you, and then basically said, okay, I can't fuck around like you guys can, I'm gonna fuck off back to my post, and then
As a
is
side question
turned back.
as well, had they provided any other description of this heavily armored man, or was it just
Yeah.
a human man,
You're on the
very
same-
big armor?
Because you had a dream.
This is what I was going to ask. I already wrote
That's
this
what I
question.
was gonna put the two and two together, thinking,
Yeah, I was going to
"Hmm,
say, can I?
that
try-
man.
I'm actually looking at my old session plans to see if I
Same
can
with
write
the
down what I just wrote.
celestial being.
So, I will get to
Oh,
that, bear with
okay.
me.
Who had the dream about celestial being?
Oh, apparently Nemea.
Me, the source of all my
Ooh.
power.
Okay,
is
cool.
the
So,
trapped celestial being.
Oh, yeah.
Nemea?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That didn't even occur to me.
Nemea,
Shit.
Yes.
not that you weren't very much of that mind frame already, but as you hear the information about the celestial being, you get kind of, you know, when Cloud gets catches of visions and it like hurts his head, and they're very kind of like, you know, high pitched sound that like cuts right through you, and then you see some images and then it cuts back. It's
Yeah,
very much like that. But what you see specifically is some sort of almost formless galaxy-style humanoid-ish. Extremities fade out to a point that it's difficult to properly confirm the form, but as you're connected to this being, you are certain that the celestial being in question is the fallen exile. Not only that, but you can see that she is somehow bound in some fashion. There are markings on the ground beneath her. Her gender is only really belied by slightly long hair and kind of a, mild exterior of a female form. She doesn't have any kind of, solid skin pigment. The whole thing is kind of galaxy-looking, as if you're looking into space.
Ethereal.
Yeah, that kind of has this humanoid form which flickers in and out of being, so it's really difficult to, get a hold. But the closest one to her, you are certain that it is the Fallen Exile that's been bound here. You are uncertain as to how this heavily armoured human is able to do such a thing, and bound what is essentially a kind of demigod. You do feel your powers waning as this story is told, and as you witness this vision. I had a thing for you, but I'm going to have to scroll for it. Where the fuck is it? Here it is. So, anytime you cast any spell, I need you to roll a d20 first.
Right now?
Nope, because you're not casting a spell right now. But anytime you cast a
Okay.
spell, I need you to roll a d20 first.
Oh no, why?
That's not something that you're, in-game
No,
aware
yeah.
of.
Yeah.
But you can feel, it takes it out of you. The way that you kind of, get this pain in your head and kind of fall to one knee, you feel weaker.
Oh god.
Wow.
In terms of the name of this outsider, the squadron only have that it was an outsider.
Fair enough.
I
So
would
you
obviously
mean the heavily
relate.
man?
Yeah, the heavily armored man was simply referred to as an outsider. He was
I
not
imagine
referenced by name.
we'd sort of offhand just be could be related to these visions. If it's somewhat related to the one that the mayor had, then
At the same
Quite-
time, you would probably
yeah.
all see Nemea kind of clutch her head and fall to one knee.
definitely
I'm
go and
gonna
comfort her and
run
make sure
over.
she's right.
I'd explain that I feel weaker, and this I think my deity, the source of all my power, is near, and she's in danger, and I'm probably not going to be very good at fighting if we do siege the city, and I'm probably just going to have to go off to try and find her.
Here's my question: is the military very still adamant about we're just going straight to Silvertomb?
That doesn't seem to have been decided, from what you can tell.
Okay.
Nobody's got a confirmation on what
It's
tomorrow
thrown
brings.
a spanner in the works.
Well,
That's what I do.
I mean, you also make the spanner and the works, so
Mhm. It's pretty easy to throw them around.
you've done thrown them in your own works. Good job. Stood there watching the works, and you're just like,
Was
"This is a nice
the-
span."
man in my vision, heavily armored.
Yes.
Oh god, that's bad.
And I think we sort of all agreed that it was the same man. Just
But my vision was basically seeing the entire world in Stalvin in complete and utter ruin. So
so
This
someone
ain't
tells
good.
me this guy's bad. Whatever he's doing
So
involving
it's
this.
it's
is
worth
not-
saying, Livia, given that you did recount your vision on a previous session, that the specifics of your vision were seeing main places in Stalvin burning.
yes,
And Stalvin was... Sorry, did I just say in Stalvin? Main places in Bela'Dun
in
burning.
Bela'Dun, yeah.
Yeah, so it was the mountains around Dunbarling crumbling. It was the
I've got it.
sandy
Here.
wastes of the east in Kintesha, flowing through everything and leaving behind a kind of dead zone.
Yeah, woods burned, Stalvin's littered with corpses.
Yes. And
That's what I
then
wrote.
it reversed. You
Yeah,
did
it all
see
did
the
like
man
a
that seemed to
fast
see
background.
you. It then reversed and you saw a bright light in front of the Temple of Arella. But yeah, part of the vision that you would say definitely wasn't... Well, if the part of your vision that was in the past was the birth of the child that you saw, then it's fair to assume that the fire of Stalvin is either present or future, or perhaps just a strange mix-up of what you were seeing.
Ah, it's no mix-up. Ooh.
So
There
it's
are
just a possibility.
many threads to
I'm
the future, and they can be
going-
interacted with
Shush,
once you know
shush.
them.
I'm going to tell. Oh, Ressil, did you know about my vision already?
She was in the tower when you told her.
Yeah, we all had the
Ah,
discussion when we got to
fine.
the
Okay, cool.
like
It's
post
like the
bit of
6th
that.
or 7th floor, I
I'll
think.
remind everyone of my vision
Might
of
be the 8th.
like the world burning.
Mm. Okay.
Mine was like based in like treetop sort of areas, wasn't it?
It
Like
was.
a lot of elves.
What, like
and
in the middle of
trees
the
and such.
wandering wood where he's hiding
Yeah.
currently?
Could possibly something.
What did he do to you? Didn't he throw you off a tree or something?
Held me up by the throat, choked me off. Wasn't pretty.
I swear I hold him. I
You
saw
saw
him
him
holding up
holding
a man. I don't know if it's by the throat. I just saw him
Uh,
holding up
Wasn't
another
me,
man and
was it?
slaughter him.
You saw him in your vision. He held up a man and stabbed his sword through his like chest, and then
That-
sort of cast him aside. In your vision, Tarrant, he held you up by the throat and went to stab you through the chest. Your glove slipped off. He saw your
Indeed.
scales and blackened hand, stopped for whatever reason, and threw you off the tree instead. Possibly to your death.
Oh.
It's uncertain.
So I just sort of look at myself and just like, yeah, something to do with whatever this is, but
Okay.
It's him. Whoever he is, he's at the center of this, and he's the one that's trapped.
He is
This
bad.
deity, and we have to free her. If the military
I
wants
really
to go back
need
to Stolven,
300
I'm
golds
not
worth
going.
of diamonds.
Livia.
Why are you laughing?
Because I know what spells that.
It's like,
Um,
it's like,
Well, ideally, I need,
it's like
like-
the mayor is saying, this monologue of, yeah, we need to stop this guy. Like, he's the cause of all of this.
I'm here
really
like I'm
need
about to
100
desert this
golds
army.
worth of time.
Like, straight up.
300! Preferably 1200.
But Max doesn't
you
know why. That's the best bit.
I know.
I know what you'd need, like 1,000 gold worth of a diamond would need, but like,
Wait, is
yeah,
it,
no,
is
I
that
want to turn
300?
over to Livia and just ask, like, I'm not entirely sure if I'd sort of point towards the rest as well. I'm not sure if anyone in Starvin even knows about this. Could you possibly contact someone with your spell?
What, with your diamonds? What?
I'm not talking about diamonds anymore.
I need diamonds.
I'm
Oh,
talking
such a-
about your
such a
spell.
materialistic
You
girl.
talked to your father
Okay.
before.
Oh, that spell. Who do you want me to talk to?
My
It could
Oh,
be
I
them at
could
the
talk to
prevalent.
the
moment.
king. I could
It
talk
could
to
be
yes,
the
Arestia,
prevalent
you
if
are
you
with
could
them.
warn-
Okay, thanks.
That's why I'm sort of pointing
Do you
towards
think that's
Arestia, just being like,
inappropriate? I
if
only
you-
get so many words.
Wait. Don't take any rash action.
I'm not saying to do it now, but if your superiors aren't really capable of sending much of a message, it might be prevalent to send a warning of some kind. If
Leave
they
it
both
to them
force
for
barreling
now.
down on them.
They're aware, leave it to the army. This, unfortunately, is an army matter. I know you are all capable, I know you're all competent, but
Arestia, what I'm saying is, if they don't have the means for a message, we need to
Yes.
make them aware of that.
Well,
I
this
heard you.
this information has come across to you on rumor, and you would assume, given the fact that the kind of timetable of events is that the squadron returned, were taken aside into a meeting with the higher ups, kind of majors and up, and then rumors began to spread, and then more rumors, and then eventually some confirmation. So it's been about almost like 8-9 hours by the time you guys are hearing this tale.
anything that we need to act on, we will be given our orders. For now, I want you all to just stay vigilant, but you don't need to act on this at the moment. I would also ask that while your visions seem to correlate with what we're hearing, don't speak about it outside of this group.
Well, don't blame me if Starvin ends up in a fiery blaze.
I'm
I'm
going to
just
try
gonna
and
look
fuck
at
with
him.
Max's camera. Bear with me.
As a little flare, I do a little spark with my fiery glove.
I don't always like you, Parvus.
There we go.
I don't always like me either.
Good response.
You know, black hand and all that.
I like look incredibly
Yeah,
distressed
careful,
right now.
careful now.
I was gonna say like you are careful.
You know, in these common events recently.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Edit that on the YouTube upload.
I hurt myself. Other people hurt me. I don't hurt other people.
Oh gosh. So do you need to report back, Lieutenant, to the
Pull
major?
back what?
To the major?
About
Whoever-
what?
About the mission?
The mission that we've just come from.
Yes. Have you
It's already
done?
it's already been done, and I've got.
Oh,
I
has
got
it
before I
already
got
been
the
done?
chicken. Yeah.
I may have missed that.
Well, to be fair,
Oh,
she didn't really tell you.
I did travel, to go and see Kristen, and then found out he's already left.
Realised when you got
I apologise
Right.
for missing that.
That reminds me, I have something for you, and I'm gonna reach into my back pocket and give him another egg.
Okay.
What?
Come on.
Where did that egg come
Did you lay that all by yourself?
She laid another one.
Oh my
She's
god.
doing very well. That's for you.
Fantastic. Let me just add that to
Also, so that I don't have
my
to track
10
it
egg.
anymore. And before I do say this, Nemea, you said something a moment ago but got spoke over. Do you need to say it again, or are you good?
I was just saying that I look incredibly distressed, detached from this whole situation.
Did we notice
Like-
that?
Yeah,
just-
I'd say it's
I don't look
fairly
right.
obvious.
Nemea, what's wrong?
I don't know if I can stay in this military if they aren't going to Silver Tomb. I have to go there.
We don't know what's
ounce
happening yet.
telling me.
Listen. All we're doing is hearing whispers at the moment. We know nothing factual. All right. I will do what I can over the next few hours to speak with the majors and the captains and get what I can of factual data. But until then, we cannot take action on hearsay. It would be frivolous and foolish too. Can you bear with me for a few hours while I get more data?
Yes, thank you.
Data,
sit tight
a
for
word
now.
that has evolved into
Data.
use entirely separate to computers, which don't exist.
But data would.
Yeah, no, it exists as a word. It's the same as information.
But well, I feel like I used information a lot. I felt myself repeating it. So
Um,
I had to find I had to get the thesaurus out. I'm like, okay, another word for information. Data, facts,
so,
objective matter.
so that I'm not tracking it ever again, and before I look at Sevi's private message to me, from this day onwards, Agatha will lay 1 egg per day.
Hooray!
Get on his cat. Oh, you best not kill him off. I will riot.
We'll see.
Michael loves sparks with electricity.
I don't know where
As
to
I want to
note
kill
that.
So yeah, I keep a track of the date, so we can confirm days that pass. I'm happy to use a bit of a rough guess at eggs so that we don't have to like track it to a T. Your response, Livia, I guess I'll whisper to you. Oh god, I have to spell your name right first.
Dietar.
Dietar.
So, Livia, you do your thing, you get that response. And I look at my notes for a moment. Cool. So, you guys essentially have the rest of the evening to sleep and not much else. Have we done XP for the completion of the Hag's Home?
No.
We did
I
not.
didn't think so.
No.
How much XP are you from level 6?
2,000.
Ooh,
as
we
far
might
as I
not
know.
make it. Let me have a look at how much she is worth. Oh no, that was session 50. Don't open on the right. Good. There we go.
I'm at 12,000 right now.
I
Ish.
don't think I
about
fucked with her.
14, about 1,400.
Yeah, so I didn't fuck with her outside of what she's worth, but there was the spider and the rat. They're not
Yes, we
worth
can't forget about the
anything.
spiders and the rats.
They're so, like, minute in terms of XP.
They weren't to us at the time. I feel like they
I
should
know,
be times
that's
by
just-
10.
Yes.
That's
If
what
we
makes
were
it
to
funny.
down
You
to
know
a 10,
what?
you
You
need
know
to
what?
times that by 10.
That's a fair.
Life's not fair, bitch. We ain't doing that.
I will multiply
okay,
it
so
by -10.
everyone gets. I'm just gonna knock this up for quest completion as well. Everyone gets 800 XP.
Boo.
What's the cap for?
Boo.
Hey.
Why are we booing?
I want to
Josh,
be
they wanna be
what's the
level
cap
six.
for level 6?
Oh.
I don't know. Scroll over your XP in the top right of your character sheet, and it should
800.
it should pop
to
up.
get to
800, yeah?
You got 800, yeah.
Anything in the top right? I have where I add what I currently have, but I don't know
Yeah,
what.
so add 800 to that.
Yeah. Oh, I
But
see.
if you
yeah, I see,
hover
it's
over
popped up.
that, it should pop up with how much you need for level 6.
Yeah, 14
Boo.
Oh, I'm
power
glad.
is level 6.
Let me put it this way. If you had somehow racked up enough XP to be level 6, which of you has your level 6 character sheet ready?
Well,
I can do that
Oh,
easy.
there we go.
I know
Thought
exactly
so.
what I'm doing.
You don't, because there's a lot of shit at level 6.
It's about personal development. It is, Josh. It's about growth.
Does any single one of you have a level 6 character sheet ready?
No, but
In
I
my
can do
mind.
one
Didn't
real
think so.
quick.
Yep, that's a no.
I can speedrun it.
Nemo with the
Twitch
no,
is
I
for
assume.
speedruns.
Cool. So we'll see what happens this session, and get ready to make a level 6 between this session and next, I suspect.
Or we might die.
Or
Heels
you
are
might
about
die,
to get better.
in which case you
Shut
don't
up.
need to do anything.
Don't jinx things.
Okay, cool. So,
I'm just prepared for it. Character
by the
flaw.
way, Agatha's eggs are going to be laid at midday. Write that down.
Midday.
Midday. It'll be midday every day that she lays an egg.
I've listed it in the notes as Agatha make many egg.
That's not accurate at all.
I'll put one a day midday.
That's better.
Yeah.
Cool. So,
Lunchtime omelette.
the night eventually comes round. Can I have everybody make a con save for me, please?
Ooh.
As the military forces are wiped out in one single tree moving into existence,
Don't
summoning
be
all of its
that.
friends. You're lost in a fog. Everyone dies.
Specifically for a spell.
Oh, forgot to put the.
Okay. You literally just need to not that one. And there it
Oh,
is!
for fuck's sake.
Ooh, nice.
So, Nemea and Livia.
Sorry.
Yes, you
Oh,
are right
sorry.
in remembering that, Livia. It's also like a
Yeah, I know, I know.
5-month journey? 6?
Yeah.
It's rolling for Nemea.
My
Uh,
dice be rolling. They're
There's
taking
Livia.
time.
There's
I'm
Nemea.
There we
Cool.
go.
So, Vice. You have 1 point of exhaustion. And that means you have disadvantage on ability checks. Vice.
Thanks.
Everyone, including Vice, not suffers, gains, that's the word, gains the effect of a long rest. So your health is fully recovered, your spell slots are all restored, any uses of things that recover on a short rest also recover on a long rest, such as your superiority die, if you happen to be Amy. Max, your health should be reduced by 1 as of whenever you reduced it last. You don't need to keep doing that, it was a one-off. But you do, unfortunately, as a result of sleeping so poorly, suffer a point of exhaustion. Purely because you are sleeping on top of shitty, uneven ground. It is difficult to find clear, flat areas of the ground well enough to sleep comfortably in your bedrolls. And keep that in mind as the description of the terrain. Should I switch to another map that perhaps disapproves this description? Some things have to be done one way, other things have to be done another. So, as the morning comes around, you're woken relatively early to the sound of birds in the trees, not unlike every fucking day here now that it's summery in the slightest. And those of you that don't sleep too well wake a little bit earlier than the rest. But there is a watch in full force that seems to have been swapped out at some point. Those that you see in the perimeter look upstanding enough. Nobody's leaning against anything and fallen asleep, for example. There are coverings of weaponry and whatnot nearby, but no large sort of carts or anything like that. The terrain is too treacherous for that kind of thing. End of summer, as I described earlier, so warm enough even at this early hour. And despite the height and thickness of the canopy above, enough of the sunlight is able to protrude that you have enough light to proceed about your day. You get a loose response, Olivia, that I will give you.
Yeah, it's fine. That was the previous day. It's just you were talking a lot faster than I was talking.
That's fine. Yeah, no worries. So, you're able to kind of go about your day as you see fit. Is there anything specific you guys want to do before we start? If you needed any kind of short rest-esque prep, now would be the time to apply it. If that's going to... what's the word? That's awful. If that's going to expire in a day, it's worth pointing out that you are fully aware you're about to continue marching for a decent portion. So if you want to apply anything that doesn't expire immediately, feel free to point out now. If you're simply looking to apply temp health, which dies on the next long rest, probably don't do that. Nemea, you said you want to, and then you stopped.
I want to put a third of my gems dust onto my weapon.
Okay.
For a d4 of, let's go for cold damage.
Okay, give me a arcane enchanter check, please. You've hit apprentice, I believe.
Yes.
So you're aware of the new apprentice thing that you have available to you?
Yeah.
Gonna say no.
I forget and I look and then...
Yeah, so you have access to everything under Student of Enchanting. Well, you have all the inherent enchanting abilities, and you have access to everything under Student of Enchanting, and you have everything under Enchanter's Apprentice. So if you use an entire gem's worth of dust, you can give somebody's footwear a next on use ability, allowing them to activate the enchant and double their movement speed for 1 turn.
Okay.
So if you want to burn through all your dust and do this hour after hour, I'd say you probably have at least 2 hours worth of downtime here. But to be fair, you've probably got hours upon hours over the next few days of marching that you could apply as many enchantments as you wanted to, really. Obviously, each item's limited to 1 enchantment. The next enchantment replaces the previous.
I will enchant my weapon and Aresia's 2 swords.
Okay, so 3 enchantments total.
Yeah. Aresia, what d4 of energy would you like? I could enchant them with ice, lightning, or fire for your next hit in battle.
Oh, damn.
The gift's back.
Yes. Shut up. Oh, would you be able to do one of each? Fire on one and ice on the other?
Of course.
I mean, sorry, I'm so sorry. I had no time to press
Maya,
mute.
that is a wonderful idea. Thank you so much. Okay, well, with my siphon sword, if we can make that ice, and my favoured blade here, if we can make that fire.
So the first one ice, the second one fire. Nemea, give me 2 arcane enchanter checks, please.
I'm just getting rid of the gem dust out of my inventory.
That's
I
fine.
don't know about this.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, that's fine.
Ooh.
Bit better. Do I
Um,
need to do a third one?
yes, you do.
3.
For your... What are you doing on the third thing, though?
I'll say
You're
the
going to
first
enchant
one's
your
mine.
weapon.
Yeah, first one's mine,
Okay.
and then the other 2 are...
Okay, cool. So, Aresia, you have a D4... Was it ice on your main hand?
Mm-hmm.
And a D4 fire on your offhand. These are consumed on the next hit. And it's... As soon as you hit, you can't choose to apply it now or save it now and use it later. It's just consumed on the next time you hit with these swords.
Okay.
Nemea, yours is a D4 -1.
Okay.
So, sorry, just so I'm clear, that's on the attack roll. I do my.
It's on the
attack
damage
dice.
roll. Yeah. So the
The attack roll. So I do my normal roll, and then as I do for the games, and then add a d4.
so you'll roll to hit. If you hit, you roll damage,
Yeah,
and when you roll
forget-
damage, you add a d4 to that.
That's what I'm asking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
And Nemea, make it a -2 actually on a nat 1. That's a pretty big fail to still have a benefit. So a d4 -2, which means it could end up being worse for you based on how you
Okay.
roll. Because it could negate itself, but this could actually make your damage worse, which is what I'm going for. Cool. Is anybody else doing anything in their downtime over the next period of marching?
I want to practice with my spells, as I
Yeah.
usually do.
Okay, cool. Give me 3 to hits with the specific spell that you are practicing with. Aresia, you wouldn't have your blades whilst Nemea did this,
No.
but is there anything you want to do?
Yeah, so I want to do two things. I want to have a quick word with Livia in private, and
Okay.
then I want to see if I can get any factual info about these rumours we've heard from the majors.
That's fine. I'll come to that momentarily. We'll do the chat
Yep.
with Livia last. Don't forget that, because I will. Vice,
Yep.
are you doing anything?
Yeah, can I attempt to cook?
You want to practice? Okay, so you got 3 uses of practice.
Where did I type that?
Taryn, I'd say that's... I tell you what, advantage on your next Shocking Grasp. And what's the dice on Shocking Grasp?
It's 2d8, I believe.
Make it 3d8 on your next use,
Nice.
because of the nat.
So, advance.
Vice, if you want to consume the ingredients and give me 3 culinary artisan checks.
Could I?
You're talking too quietly to come through all the time.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you when you're slightly louder.
Oh, sorry.
Throw my cards everywhere.
No worries. So have you got the ingredients to do 3 checks?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and are you using the book?
Oh, yes! Thank you!
Are you using the book, Vice?
I am using the book.
You are using the book. The book states that you must
I need
first...
to roll an 8. I need to roll an 18.
Yeah, but you need to make a...
Higher.
I swear there's a constitution check first. Rolling a cooking check, 18 or higher, you practice cooking as normal, gain 2 points. On a failure, you waste time and ingredients involved and immediately throw up. There is no con save. I just worked it straight into the cooking check. Fair enough. It's worth pointing out as well that this is a journeyman book. So this won't get you forever. This will just get you to journeyman. Once you've hit journeyman, you've learned everything this book has to teach you.
Yeah.
Yeah? So on your 3 rolls, you waste the ingredients twice. So you've wasted 2 mains, 2 sides, and 2 flavor ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
And in both of those instances, you throw up.
Wonderful.
So at some point in the downtime, as like people are quickly
Guys.
putting together pots and pans in like a quick fire, putting it together, cooking things, eating it, putting the fire out and carrying on the march, there are extended periods where Vice is like, no, guys, I need to get my practice in. Give me a moment. And he kind of like puts all the ingredients in, flips a page open, reads it, and you just see the expression on his face go to one of like shock and like horror as he like reads through the lines and then just goes like, "Whoa, whoa," and throws off to the side and closes the book and is like done for that day. Fortunately, on the last check, Vice, you do succeed, and you're able to kind of like, like squint a little bit at one of the pages and try and not pay too much attention. It describes a specific process involved with mincing the muscle of humans, which you'd never really considered before, and you try a similar thing on some meat that you have, some rabbit that you come across or something similar, and it kind of works to some degree. It's almost as if the difference in toughness makes it need to be applied in a different way. The book describes it in like graphic, gory detail, but you're able to apply the same process successfully enough to get 2 successes on your
Hooray!
journey to journeyman. So
I'm
you're.
I'm an apprentice. Finally,
Oh, is that because you only needed one?
I needed one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so you're one more. So
Yep.
you should be at 11 then. Is that right?
I am at 12. Yeah, 12. No, 13. I'm at 13 now because I was at 11 before, and now I need one more to get to 12.
So apprentice only needed 10.
What? That's not what you said when I first
To practice,
started
you
doing
must spend materials as if attempted to apply. So you do not get the effects of a roll an arcane enchanter check.
You said,
D20
you
plus
said I need
proficiency determine whether
to
or
have
not it-
achieved 12 successful practices, and
Are you sure that wasn't the previous practice DC?
No, it was the one. Total practices required.
It definitely
need
says 4 practices
12.
required for student, 10 required for apprentice. So if I told you 12,
You are
I
reading
am
the
sorry.
Enchanter one, I'm pretty sure. Josh, 'cause you
Oh,
definitely said
good.
Enchanter.
Yes, I am reading the Enchanter one. Let me
Yes.
check.
It is 12 on.
It's 12.
That's
Thank
fine.
you,
It's
Ulrich.
12.
It's 12. So you should be on 13.
Uh,
I
Thank
am
you
now
for that. Thank you for that. Yes, I was reading
Thank
the
you,
Enchanter
Ulrich.
one. So yeah, you're on 13. You have to get to 30 to be a journeyman, at which point this book will be useless to you now after that. But yeah, you've got access to the Culinary Apprentice Energized option now.
Yes, it's a boon. Beautiful.
Okay. But you spent all the time practicing. You didn't spend any of the time applying benefits.
No.
So we've done Taryn, we've done Nemea, we've done Vice. Arestia said what she wants to do. Livia, do you want to do anything specific?
I'm busy.
Okay, then you're busy.
So many spells.
Arestia, at some point, this is the next day, so earlier than, or it's the same day that you've woken up upon, but earlier than everyone's full practicing. That's going to take place over the next kind of half a month that you guys are going to travel for, and that's why we've done several downtime things. As you approach some of the larger military tents, they're still relatively small because they're very quick setups and put downs. They're not bothering with huge encampment things at this point, and also the trees are so numerous that really doing that is becoming quite difficult. But you manage to find where the main kind of conversation's going on about how to proceed. You are stopped by somebody that basically says to you that unfortunately, Lieutenant Godwin, you don't hold the rank to join this conversation. He just says to you, I'm sure information and orders will be, what's the word?
Given. If
Yeah,
needed.
sure, will be given once the decision's been made. No, that works.
I can
That's all I
find
want.
another word.
That's all I wanted. It's up to you what you want to do, but it seems as though they are coming to a close by the time this guy kind of stops you respectfully and asks for you to essentially wait. Do you do anything specific, or are you happy to wait as they seemingly finish up this conversation?
I'll respect what
Okay.
he says and wait.
Okay. So over the next kind of half an hour or so, the conversation goes on, and they seem to break. And Ferdy comes over to you, Aressia.
Oh, great.
Kind of recognizing you for tasks previously successfully completed. She goes past the guy that was sort of stopping you and like goes to put a hand on his shoulder, and he sort of sees her coming and just nods and steps away. She looks at you and she says, Aressia, it seems that you were perhaps looking for some sort of information, guidance. Am I right?
Yes, Major Ferdy. I'd heard some rumours and just wanted to put them at ease with the reality of the matter.
Yes, well, it seems that we're in a difficult position, unfortunately. Simply turning tail and heading back to our homeland will, unfortunately, not abate the situation there. They have the head start on us that we would have needed to have made a difference. We have sent word, of course, and those of... And she, like, reaches for a scrap of paper and, like, looks for the name of whoever's in charge of the kind of social military there. Oh, there's the second page. Oh god, I definitely had his name written down. I've definitely lost it.
Ferdy needs reading glasses. That's why it's taking time.
Hang on, let me check if it's here instead. Ooh, this is different. Ah, she kind of looks down the page, and then she goes, "Ah, yes, here it is. A Kravor, a dwarven fellow that
Kravor.
leads up the Stalvan Guard. He's been sent information regarding the likely upcoming events, and has been advised to mount as best a defense in the city's walls as they can. As you're aware, the main force of the Stalvan military resides amidst you. We have decided that if we are to see any sort of success on this side of this skirmish, that it will be to capture Silvertomb and put a stop to this engagement with the Elven forces. We are to march forward and engage with them, take what we can of the capital until some sort of agreement has been reached. Your individual orders will be assigned shortly, but outside of the march upon the confirmed location of this elven capital, there is not much to do other than simply go there. My suspicions would be that you will be expected on the front lines."
So, sorry, just to ask, just so I understand out a game, Kravor, was he? Is he already at the army, or sorry, at Stalvan, or was he sent back from the army to head back to Stalvan?
So there's a number of parts that make up Stalvan's forces, and the sort of distinction between the Stalvan local guard and the Stalvan military is quite specific and well known. The military doesn't get involved with local issues, and the local forces are not given the same access and weaponry that the military has. Kravor is a dwarven fellow that heads up the Stalvan Guard. He is the Stalvan Guard captain, and he holds the rank of captain. He is equivalent to any captain in Stalvan's forces, but is recognized as different to a military captain, though he holds the same rank and authority. So Kravor heads up the Stalvan Guard. They're still in Stalvan. The Stalvan military left Stalvan to go and engage the elves in the Wandering Wood. They didn't know that the capital was there at the time. They suspected it, and they have since found it.
I'm assuming Erezia would know the size of the Stalvan Guard in terms of manpower.
Yeah, I'd say that they're probably they're enough to have kind of 2 or 3 in each kind of decent-sized portion of Stalvan at any one time. So I'd say there's maybe 40 to 50 of them at a rough kind of applying a number to it now at the top of my head. Maybe a bit more than that for the entirety of the city. But there's areas that they don't massively go into too much. The part of Stalvan that's referred to as the Shadows, I believe, isn't frequented that regularly by the Stalvan Guard, because they it's just asking for trouble. They're just, if they go in there to arrest people, they'll certainly find somebody to arrest, but they'll also find somebody that's trying to stab them in the back. So it's not policed as well as it otherwise could be. At the same time, it doesn't bleed out to the rest of Stalvan in this sort of unspoken agreement that they kind of have.
Vice should remember the brothel there well.
Exactly. And the arena is also in the Shadows.
Okay, so last question then. Well, I was just on tip of my tongue there. Oh yeah, sorry. The Elven force that's on its way to Stalvan. Do we in game at this point know the kind of estimated numbers of that?
No. The assumption is that they kind of match this military force.
So in the thousands.
Well, I wouldn't say that you guys are in the thousands. No, I'd say that you're probably.
We were.
Did I say thousands previously? I don't think so.
I feel I had that from a previous session when we were first when the army was first kind of introduced,
Okay.
I felt like it was thousands. I might be wrong. I might have it wrong. But I
I
thought we
feel
were
like
in the
that
thousands.
sounds a bit numerous for my liking. I would say that you're
Right.
certainly in the low hundreds in terms of this force in the wood about to strike Silvertomb.
What, 200-300, that kind of thing?
Yeah, maybe around 2.
200. Okay. Okay. Thanks for that. I'll just resume. Major Ferdy, I appreciate that, and we will await your orders. But if I may share a concern with you, I know that Captain Cravor is very, very able and has held his title for some time, and is very remarkable at defending the city along with his troop. However, my concern is that his men will be greatly outnumbered by the Elven force. I mean, it will be 3 to 4 potentially to every one man, and while they're very strong, they are only flesh and blood at the end of the day. Is there anything that the Salvan military can do to assist them?
I appreciate your concern, Lieutenant. However, at this point, we are at somewhat of an impasse. It seems that we have gone beyond the point of no return. If we were to lean upon the magics that we have amidst the Starvan military force here to do anything other than simply send warning back to those still in Starvan, we would limit our number to a point that we would not be able to capture Silvertomb, the Elven capital. If we were to attempt to return in force, we would likely be too late to turn the tide of battle. I'm afraid at this point, our greatest chance of success is to hope that the walls of Stalvin hold with the forces we have, and do our best to ensure that this force that marches upon Stalvin is not reinforced in any sort of fashion. The only way to guarantee this is to take the capital for ourselves. It may so be that we can come to an accord before Stalvin is even sieged at all.
I understand, Major. Might I ask one more question? What, if any, is the contingency plan if let's say the Stalvan walls fall and the Elven force decides in the event that they take the city, they return to their base? We are still met with that number, and we have lost Stalvan. I mean, what do we do then?
Well, certainly, having taken Silvertomb, it will be our intention to return home and ensure that all there is well and is bolstered as required. Heading into Stalvin from the north, as they likely will be, we expect them to first see the market square. We will ensure that as any enemy forces are spotted, that all civilians are moved as far south from that position as possible. It will be our intention to make sure that our work here lessens the forces that Stalvin will have to deal with, and bolster them shortly after. I'm afraid without spiting ourselves here, there is little more than we can do outside of hoping the walls of Stalvin hold as they have done for generations.
Yes, Major. One more question. How did the military send word to Cravor and his men?
We have a small assortment of mages amidst the military that were recruited following the abolishment of magic being outlawed in Stalvin shortly before we left the capital. The occasional mage amidst our number is able to perform such a incantation.
Right, so Cravor is aware now, he's not awaiting a messenger.
That is correct. We have not left this to the time frame of somebody on foot or perhaps by horse. My fear is that somebody travelling in such fashion would likely be far later than required.
I understand, Major. Thank you for that information, and we will await further orders. Might I say something to you off record?
Of course.
I know that the group that Sergeant Asteros and myself are looking after don't necessarily have the best reputation and the finest introduction into the military force. However, I must say that from the very beginning of my time with them, and I'm sure Sergeant Asteros will concur, they have proven themselves to be very powerful and very dedicated to supporting the army, and I hope that their position here changes for the better.
My understanding, Lieutenant, is that in the coming days, weeks, is that power may be all that is the defining factor of a person. If we are successful, I believe the initial agreement with your squadron will be on it. I wish you all the best, and I hope that you and your squadron survive the upcoming skirmish so that the boons you have coming to you are able to be applied.
Yes, Major. Thank you. Good day.
And she steps away from you and seemingly has like a follow-up conversation with some of the other majors in the distance. You see them seemingly decisively say a few words and then split off in mostly different directions, as it seems orders are beginning to be provided.
Cool. Can I go have a quick word with Livia?
Yes, you did say that before. Go for it.
I assume I've gone back to the group.
Yeah, easy enough to do.
Okay.
It doesn't take too long.
Livia.
Yo. Hello.
Yo. Ooh. Quite like how that
Hello.
sounds. Yo. Oh, yo is fine. Yo, Livia. Doesn't sound quite good
No,
coming
you're
from
right.
me,
It sounds
but
terrible. Don't worry about it.
oh, okay. Well, I tried. I don't suppose we could have a very quick chat in private.
Of course.
Come with me. So I'm just gonna whisper and sort of look around just to make sure no one can hear us. Livia, you are very knowledgeable and proficient in magics, particularly white magic and healing magic.
Thank you.
I wondered if you were aware of any such spell that could raise the dead or tell if a being is alive or dead. Do you know of any spells like that? Take your time.
I mean, a little think about it. One sec.
I mean, if you need, I know you obviously have a large catalogue. If you need to stop and have a think about it, then I would appreciate it if you could let me know later.
Yeah,
Olivia
I
pulls
will.
out her gigantic thesaurus of.
I'll have a think and I'll get back to you. I'll just read all through these. I can't believe I can't remember. I have something in mind, but I don't think it's quite what you want.
I imagine Olivia just has a massive tome that takes up the entire space of her backpack.
No,
Just
I
like-
don't. I really don't have a spell book. Like, that's just not a thing for clerics. It's all in their head. So
Yeah,
when you see this is me sifting through my brain.
Sat there just like fuck.
Oh,
What was the question?
No. So there is something I can perform, but I would need a corpse.
What is the spell though?
It's to speak with someone that's passed on, but I believe you do need to touch their actual corpse. And they must still have a mouth, from what I remember.
Very specific.
So I don't think that one's going to work.
May
Does
I be
it work if
candid with you?
it's just the mouth?
There is a spell where I can revive someone, but I'm pretty sure they. Oh no, maybe not. Oh no, I can. It's only if they've died within like the last I don't know 60 seconds or something, and you need diamonds, which is very very hard to come by in these trying times.
See.
I can also. There's another spell where you can turn someone that's. You can like create almost a servant of undeadness. But we'd need bones, and I don't think that's quite what you're after either.
So, am I right in understanding that the dead can be revived, although
I
Or-
have heard of magics where this is possible, either communing with someone who has passed on, or potentially even bringing them back. Although that is a dark road to go down. I'm sure you don't need me to tell you. But it's quite advanced magics and quite specific. I potentially in a few years' time, I would be able to.
no? That's
master.
that's fine. That's fine.
Let me look into it some more. But currently, no.
Let me check the second deck.
Let me.
There are so many.
me-
It's such a joke. Sorry.
Let me ask, just candidly, is there a way that you know of, whether you can do it or another sorcerer or wizard or whatever, can tell if someone is alive or dead? Can that be done? Historically.
Livia, roll Arcana.
Oh no, I'm just not arcanic. That's a terrible thing to make me roll.
Let me check the spell. That I'm thinking.
Like Sebi can think of stuff.
Yeah, you can get to this.
Can I cast guidance on myself?
Yeah, I'd say so. 16 total.
16.
So, you recall a kind of plethora of spells. There are a number of spells specifically for speaking to the dead, some of which are slightly lower level, like Speak with Dead. Some of which are slightly more higher level and give you slightly more access. But like you were saying, Speak with Dead kind of requires the corpse to have a mouth to be able to respond, and they are not inclined to respond truthfully. They respond as they would respond.
You also need the corpse.
Yes. However, given that Oresia has said that you're trying to confirm if somebody's dead or alive, you are aware of some spells that could be used to specifically focus in on somebody that is alive. I don't know whether or not it would work if they're dead, and I would say neither do you as a result, but you are familiar with a spell that allows you to create a point around a person, to the best of your knowledge, likely living, that would allow you to choose to either see them or hear them, and it is easier the more you know of them. So if you own something of theirs, it would be much easier if you had like a picture or you knew their likeness, or you were familiar with them personally, then it would be much easier, but not knowing them at all makes it a fair bit more difficult. However, if you were successful with this kind of spell, you would simply be able to see a person regardless of their location, and we'll leave it there because I don't know if they have to be alive or dead.
Okay. So.
Well, it does say they have to be on the same plane of existence to you, so I'll say that you know that they need to be alive, because I don't think dead people are going to be on the same plane of existence to you.
That's true.
No.
So there is certainly a spell out there that allows you to focus on a living creature or humanoid. So theoretically, you could go backwards and look for something specifically living, and if you get no response or it doesn't work, creature, then you can assume that they are no longer on this plane.
Yes. That's perfect. Is that something you can do?
It's 5th level.
Well, it would take a while, and ideally a scroll. That would be useful.
Can't cast scrolls for levels that you don't have access to yet.
It would take a while. Also, oh yes, that is also 5th level. There is an alternate route. Oh, raise dead. Up 10 days. Everything costs money, man. What's this? 1,000 gold crystal ball shite.
I don't think it consumes it though.
No. Oh, you are right. Well done. There is an alternate route where, because I am slightly more attuned with my chosen goddess than some others, I could potentially try and make contact with her and see if that would give me any answers. There is a specific spell for that, which I definitely not
Is this the
learned
wheel
yet.
and woe thing?
No, commune.
Okay.
I know what you're thinking of. You're thinking of augury.
Augury, that is it.
Yeah, see, look. And various things like that. So there's a few different ways, but all of this magic is quite advanced, and I would say I'm not quite there yet. We could potentially find someone who is.
Livia, you've answered my question and you've told me that it's possible. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I'm just going to grab her hands and, shake them in thanks.
Okay.
I can't sit level now. I'm gonna say, of course, and I will do my best to achieve this and help you as soon as I can.
No pressure, but just thank you for
It's
letting me know.
possible.
Do you have to be level 7 for 5th level spells? Or level 6? No, it's definitely not level 6. I feel like at level 6 you might get 4th level spells.
Don't know.
Find
Commune
out.
would be the best way to do it. Actually, ooh, there's a cleric thing where it's like a sub ability thing. It's not in this giant fucking pack that I've been looking through for 25 minutes, where you can like talk to your deity and ask them questions. Ooh,
Ooh, it is a while away. You got to be 9th level to get to 5th level spells.
damn it! That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, go on. What are you talking about?
There's a thing. There's the thing where you
not
get
helping me.
access and you can talk to your. You can talk to
Tony, I love
your.
this.
Where did I put this?
I'm moving on. So,
Sorry, yeah.
as you have this conversation, Oresia, the march continues. We come to the end of this march. And I'm going to need to check the calendar to look at what the date would be. What's 12? What's 27 plus 12?
I
If
don't know, but I've
30 is-
turned
39.
into Taryn because I'm doing a lot of mumbling and thinking.
That works. So 9. Rora. So, it is Rora 9, midday. You have 12 more eggs.
Ooh,
For whoever's on-
Oh, your boy's muted. Oh, your boy's muted.
Oh, there it is! It finally happened!
Damn it!
Got your back. I saw it.
Damn it!
He's been waiting for that for
Alright,
so
why
long.
Are you gonna call it out, man? So
Because he only has half a head now. That's what it is.
I've
He
got
only has
12
front
eggs.
half of a head, depending on where, like, how rocked forward he is. I'm being sucked into the forest.
yeah. So 12 eggs. Right. Okay.
12 eggs.
I
Yeah,
need to cook
12
these
more
eggs,
eggs.
'cause It's getting out of hand.
I think
now.
it's probably worth saying that eggs are probably only going to last about 2 weeks.
And how long has it been?
This to get those 12 eggs has been 12 days, which is 2 weeks in Bela'Dun.
So I only have 12 eggs.
I'd say you have 11 eatable eggs, edible eggs, and if you had any more eggs than 11, delete them. Because those ones aren't
Yeah, they're
edible
gone.
anymore.
They're gone.
Just assume they've
Yeah,
been
they're
eaten
gone.
over the time.
What a
you've been
waste
eating
of blood coin.
Cool. So, I'm coming through twice.
Oh, yeah, I did
Ooh,
hear
I'm
you
seemingly
twice.
not anymore. Who is it?
Nope.
Which one of you bastards is Taryn?
bless
That was a really good one.
you. Bless you.
So, after this 2-week period, you guys reach what I would describe as roughly the middle of the Wandering Wood. The arrow's not perfect, but we'll use it for now. Let me just check my notes here. So it's been agreed that the music is playing, it's just incredibly quiet. It's been agreed that the intention of the Starver military force at this point is to it looks like you're pushing your chair into the forest. It's been agreed that the intention of the Starver military force is to march on Silvertomb and wipe it out. Given that this elf spoke so much and was then executed, it's also assumed that the elven force will be waiting ready for a skirmish of some description. Now, the Starvan military is fully aware that the main force of the Silver Tomb, I don't want to say forces, but we're going to say forces, is lesser in number as a result of their main force being sent to Starvan. However, they are expecting a pretty formidable enemy. Those that did not stand with the outsider and that do not wish for a war with Starvan are likely trying to stay back and are about the capital. Those that stand with the outsider and weren't sent south to Starvan are likely making up the main force, but if you hold a soldier-esque role amidst the Silver Tomb people, chances are that regardless of your opinion on the outsider, you are looking to defend your capital against this force that marches upon you. And as a result, a full all-out war is expected at the kind of forefront of the capital. Tactics have been discussed, and you have been briefed subsequently following this plan. So, at some point, hang on, scrolling from miles away, a chief sergeant, nope, sorry, that's one down from Maresia. I wasn't looking for that, I was looking for one up from Maresia. A captain approaches your group and essentially briefs you by handing off a small scrap piece of paper, and just kind of goes, "These are your orders, get ready." Passes them off to you, Aresia. And as he kind of hands them off to you, he looks you in the face, and kind of catches your gaze for a moment. He's like, "I'm sure you'll be fine, Lieutenant. Thank you." And he walks off.
I'll just nod and not say anything.
Mhm.
Are the group directly with me, or am I a bit away?
Yeah,
from
no,
them?
they're with you.
Okay, I just want to step away from them and open the scroll so I can read it without them reading over my
Mhm.
shoulder.
In that case, I will whisper it to you.
I hope it's no more lakes, by the way, guys. We can throw it out there.
Anything involving water and swimming.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Well, send Taran. He was the MVP of that mission.
I can swim real good. I
You
got
can.
fish skills.
You do. Mad fish skills and mad fish skills. Nice music.
There you go. With a few typos thrown in for fun.
Thanks.
You see this same captain stepping off and seemingly providing scrap pieces of paper to other leaders of squadrons. Oh, he's only a chief sergeant. I thought he was higher. Let me have a look at the rankings here. Oh, okay. Cool. So, Aresia, it's up to you what you want to do with that, but the squad can see you've clearly been handed it and then kind of like just picked up your pace a little bit before reading it. The
Okay.
Wardens of Dusk.
Yeah, okay. And I'm just reading. Just want to whisper something to you before I...
Okay. Just do /W space, and then I think it's Kovu?
I've made
Yeah,
that mistake enough
it is.
times to know what
Yeah.
I'm meant to do.
I don't know if it works if you do DM. I assume not.
GM, I'm pretty sure. Is
Oh,
the
GM
one
works, is it?
I think I used that.
That's it.
Oh, shit. Sorry, it's that American keyboard. I still haven't sorted it.
That works.
It does indeed.
It does, yeah. It does.
Oh, what Twitch stream?
Does Twitch see the
Yeah.
whisper?
Yeah, I can see everything. It's on screen, so it's in. It's on.
Don't be in
It's on
Twitch.
Twitch.
Unless you whisper to basically anyone but Josh.
Aresia, it's assumed that like it would be ridiculous if this was just your squadron because you are taking up a role that requires many in number. So you see
Yeah.
other people other squadrons nearby also getting their scraps of paper, and one or two every now and then kind of throw you a look. It's quite a wide approach, so
Okay.
you would assume that you're kind of going to be responsible for a portion of that approach, assisted by many others.
Okay.
And we'll come on to that later. But yeah, it's
Right.
certainly not something you would handle alone.
Okay, lovely. Okay, I'm gonna just fold up the scroll and look at the group and approach them.
As soon as you fold it, it like sparks and just like dissipates into ash.
What?
Is that standard practice or was that a surprise for me?
I don't know that. Yeah, I'd say that's a little bit of a surprise.
Is that,
The last one.
very dangerous.
It's like you were touching it and it didn't hurt. It seems to be something that they've enchanted on it recently because of perhaps your location when these things were provided.
Right. Okay. That was
Yeah,
unpleasant.
like switch your hand slightly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just wipe it on my hips. Right. Livia, Vice, Taryn, the mayor, Chicken. All of you, come here.
Oh,
Lieutenant?
We have been assigned another mission.
where? We're not going back to Stolven, are we?
No, there is already a force at Stolven ready to defend the city should it be needed.
Oh,
We will be heading forward with a number of the military force here onto the front lines. We are going to be aiming to neutralize the enemy. We believe they may have siege weaponry that we are to destroy or confiscate. We are to reduce their number. We are to neutralize them. And once that is complete, then we will move past their forces and take Silvertomb.
Right. So we're potentially going into our deaths.
Everything we've done to this point has been potentially to our deaths. You meeting the king was potentially to your death. Don't have that attitude, okay? You guys are very powerful. I told Major Thverdy that not so long ago, and I have great faith in all of you. I've come out unscathed so far of every mission I've been in with you, and so have all of you.
Should have seen what happened when I met the king. Ooh.
I mean, you were in prison for a long time. I'd love to hear that story one day.
So, okay. So we're to take
Don't know
out
that Taryn did meet the king.
forces around
Actually,
around the perimeter of towards this. So did you mention about the?
Yes, so we believe that the enemy that is defending Silvertomb, there is a I don't want to say a force, but there is a number of the enemy defending Silvertomb with defensive weapons and mechanisms. We have to neutralize them before proceeding onward. Obviously, I mean, we don't want to leave them where they are. It's not just us that will be doing it. As you can see, there are a few receiving orders of a similar nature. So we will be, and by we I mean the lieutenants and superior officers, we will be collaborating and devising an operation going forward. But this will be a task for all of us and a number of the army.
Okay.
You seem concerned, Vice.
No. No, I'm just wondering when all of this will be over. Because yeah,
When they kill us,
I'd like to
apparently.
get back to a normal life. To be honest.
From what I understand, Major Ferdy has herself told me that she believes once this is done and this task, this war has been won, your achievements will be acknowledged and your, in as many words as she gave me, your freedom will be granted again. So it's worth fighting for.
I'd rather fight for that than this, to me, an unnecessary war, to be honest.
All war is unnecessary, unfortunately, but, you know, if it isn't a war, it just becomes a one-sided slaughter. And we can't lose any of our own number or the people of Stalvin. I'm sure you have ties to villages and towns in that area that also would be affected. They're worth protecting too. That's all this army does, really. We don't go to fight, we go to protect, and we can't protect if we let the enemy just do what they want and go in haphazardly. It's a horrible job, but it's one that has to be done.
I don't feel like this is going into protect. This is going into attack and slaughter.
What would you propose we do instead, Livia?
Well, it doesn't matter what I propose,
Don't-
does it? Because
exactly.
the military will do what the military want to do.
See, now, Livia, this is a problem. You often have something to, you know, protest and object to, but you don't actually have an answer for me.
Well, it
If you
is.
have
We're
an answer for
marching
me-
on
No, have
another
a solution for
people's
me, not a problem.
city to slaughter them all for no reason other than that one bad elf.
We haven't one bad elf.
Oh, there's plenty of bad humans out there. Trust me, we've met them.
Oh, trust me, I know.
Maybe we
full
should march
well.
on Stalvin.
Be very careful, Livia.
But it's true. We're marching on a society to slaughter them all, and they've done nothing.
Who said slaughter? Take the city. We're not
How
going to
do you
slaughter
think
anyone
people
innocent.
take a city if they don't kill people?
I tell you
innocent
what,
people?
shall we sit here and let them all go on to Stalvin then, and you can explain to all the widows and orphans what happened to their fathers
No,
and
we should have stayed at Stalvin and protected the city, and then we wouldn't have given them a good reason to march on the city and attack us because we wouldn't be marching and attacking on their city.
So it's fair to say at this
Livia.
point, Livia, that you are fully aware, based on the information that you got from the elf that was interrogated by the group that went away and then took some time to come back, that the attack on Stalvin was not a response to the attack on Silvertomb. It was already in the works as a result of the success of a elvish spy, which
yes,
is
but
the...
that doesn't. No, I get all that, but we are here before knowing that.
Yes,
So regardless of what they were doing, we were going to attack them.
Stalvin
with no
attacked
reason.
under the assumption that this elvish spy was sent from the main elvish force. It so seems that a number of people did actually side with the person that sent out this elvish spy. So from Stalvin's perspective, I would say that they likely, like Oresia seems to, think themselves just in this approach. If everyone had waited in Stalvin and everything had followed through as the elf who was interrogated suggested, there would still be an attack on Stalvin.
Yeah, but my taking is that there would be a full army there to protect the people of Stalvin.
But what do you think that army would do after the elves attacked them?
Yeah, but then it would be justified. Like, if someone comes and attacks your city, it makes sense to go, okay, well, we're going to attack you back. Just being like, I think you guys might be bad, so we're going to attack your entire city and take over. And then be like, oh, look, you were doing something bad. Great. It's like, well, your intentions weren't pure in the first place. So regardless that you got lucky, doesn't mean the intentions were great.
There's not always a good guy.
Either way,
But I'm
I
not
think
saying,
the
like, the
nation-
story's wrong or right. That's Livia's opinion.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Like-
I'm just saying that you have that information. So to feel
Yeah.
so strongly that, like... I'm just
I think
saying
they
it's
got
not
lucky.
that
They could
Stalvin's
have easily
specifically in the
found
wrong.
an elf who would have turned around and been like, "We're just stuck in the woods."
I'm
because
trying to
we've seen
work out
thousands
where
of
this is
you
Sevi and
marking
Josh
us."
and like Livia, and I'm not trying to work
No,
out.
none
where
of it's
the interrupt
Sevi.
game.
No, all Livia. I'm just making sure
I'm trying to
that
work out if
I'm just
But
making
you
sure that
both
Livia has all the
don't
information that she has.
understand why Livia is so passionate about it, and I think it's
yeah.
like obvious. I don't get it.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, we found an elf with this story, but that happened 2 days ago. We've been marching for months to take over a city with no evidence that they've done anything wrong, apart from one bad guy.
Also, to Livia's credit, there's no confirmation that what this elf was saying was the truth.
Livia.
Like, this is a lot of cost and a lot of money and time, an entire
Livia.
army. No,
I
it's
hear
my
what you're
opinion.
saying. Livia, grow up. Grow up and listen to me.
No, you can't tell me to not have an opinion.
Stop acting like a brat, okay? Because that is how you're coming off right now. I understand you are a very good and righteous person. I know that about you. I've learned that about you in the time I've been with you, okay? And I admire your viewpoint. I do. However, unless you have a solution that I can give, whinging about it changes nothing. Give me a solution. Give me something I can take to the majors and the captains and so on and so forth. Give me something. Give me an idea of something that we can do.
I
to
don't
solve
want
it.
to be a part of it, and I'm being forced to. Therefore, occasionally, I will voice my opinion.
We're an expendable group, yeah?
And that.
Sort of.
They keep
Is
sending me
Farouk-
into suicide missions along with all of my friends. I can be grouchy about it.
You are to me, if that helps.
Just been oh, sorry, the audio keeps cutting out. Did I come through?
Yeah, you came through.
No.
Okay,
Not
okay,
for
all
me.
of you cut out. I was
What
breaking you.
said? Sorry.
Here's my solution for you, Lieutenant. We're a small squad. We've got various ways of infiltrating. I'd say we've got a bit of charisma on our side sometimes. Pass a little wink. They want to resolve this a bit more peacefully. They can always mount a siege. Somewhere they can stay inside the city. Nobody necessarily has to attack. Send us in as a forward party. Some sort of arrangement could be made. We could meet with the council, some sort of thing. If they really don't want to listen, we can infiltrate. Find out
Remember,
what's
they
going
are
on, go after
many.
one person.
We are 5, and they are many greater than 5. From what I understand, if we're not of their kind, they'll execute us on sight. And
That's
I don't know.
racism, Lieutenant.
From what I understand, I didn't say it was factual.
Well, then maybe you should keep more of an open mind.
Okay, let's say I have an open mind and we get there and they execute us all on sight. My open mind is now very much closed, as is all of yours.
Or more open.
My mind is very open because I'm thinking of a way that we could do this a lot more peacefully.
Yes, and
Figure this out.
I'm thinking it through. I'm listening to you. I'm not dismissing your idea. I'm just breaking it down and opening it up more. Okay, so let's say we can infiltrate. Let's say we can get through. What do you propose we do?
Well, first of all, the initial plan would be to attempt to just create an accord. Discuss things with the council, get somewhat closer to this strange outsider, figure out exactly what's going on from their end. They can explain their side of the story. Possibly we could, as I said, find an accord. Figure out whatever their force is doing. Somehow, I can't give you the exact details. That elf might have been lying. Anything could be untrue. But
Anything could be
fact,
untrue. Anything could be true. That's too risky, Taryn, and there's not really any glimmer
less
of...
risk than a
Yes.
full-blown war where we could end up slaughtering many innocents.
Yes, we get there, we're executed, and the war goes on anyway. That just our side is down 5 very powerful beings.
And you're okay living with that fact that we could have done something, but we
Have
didn't.
they even tried to broker some kind of communication with the elves for peace?
You haven't
or
yet reached the forefront of the Elven capital.
negotiation.
Yeah, so negotiation's not possible because you haven't reached that point yet. By the time you guys are done speaking is when we'll segue over to reaching that point.
Have they considered an approach to do it, like a plan?
You'd
rather
have
than
to speak
actually
to
have done it?
somebody about that. All you know is what Aresi has given you in terms of your orders.
All of you need to just stand back and look at it. They've imprisoned a deity up there. They've listened to this outsider that's promised them power. What if he summoned demons like they did in the Great Wars of old? We need to get in there and do something about it. We can't be a passive party.
I'm not saying we're being
Regardless of
passive, but
innocence.
even from what the elf said, it seemed like a huge majority of the population in their city doesn't seem to agree with this war either.
The way I see it, you have 2 options here. You can either follow the orders and fight to the best that you can. If you are able to individually broker peace with the elves, wonderful, you'll be hailed heroes. If you don't want to go forward with this mission, feel free to turn tail and return to Stalvin. Your freedom will not be granted to you like the king promised because you did not see it through. Those are your 2 options as far as I see it.
Freedom won't be granted as long as, we go forward into our what is essentially much more of a suicide mission than anything we've done before.
Through all of this talk, I kind of forgot what our immediate mission is.
I will leave that to the
We're-
lieutenant.
Sorry, we got really like sidetracked, and it's
So
all
just to
sort of-
recap,
it's like a treadmill. It's gone off.
our squad and a number of other squads are to basically neutralize the
Kill.
defensive. Neutralize is the word I
Kill.
said. If you can bind them, incapacitate them without harming them, wonderful. If you can.
It's fair to say that
Well-
it seems most people got these orders. There are few squadrons that are not going to be on the front line.
Livia, Taran, I hear what you're saying. I do. And I'm not saying you have to kill anybody, but if you make any decisions that
Oh, I won't.
result in the harm or death on any of our side, because you were too hesitant or too stubborn,
No stubborn.
it won't go well for you.
I'll heal you guys,
What I'm
and
saying
I'll
is
look
we
after
don't
who
go
I
straight
can.
into an attack. If we just straight up go and attack this city, they will fight back, and we will most likely die. I'm trying to think of a solution that will prevent that entirely.
Well, we have very little time, so you'd need to find
I
a
think
solution
Karen's
quickly.
right. Have they not even considered a negotiation plan for when we reach the gates? Gates. Who knows
I know
where they
as
are.
much as you. Listen. I've received these orders. I know as much as you right now. As much as
Well,
I've told
I
you.
don't
as
want
much
to
as
be
I
a
know.
soldier that goes marching in killing people if there hasn't even been an attempt at negotiations. I feel like it's something we should ask at least.
Do you attempt to negotiate with that hag?
Good job.
It was different. She stabbed Vice. She was eating people. I'm gonna pull out my
You
vial of tiny bones.
did not know that at the time you killed her, and the other one didn't stab Vice.
They did attack us, you know that, right?
The first one, Lieutenant, did stab me.
The first one stabbed Vice.
You know, she like stabbed me
Also-
a little bit.
She definitely
Cross.
stabbed me.
And healed everyone.
All right.
And then killed the
I
hag.
was,
Let me
you know,
ask you then. If we were to approach the force and we were to stop, we were not to draw first, and they do,
Then we fight back, as is our right. But if there is a way to prevent that, even if it's just an attempt, why would you even consider not doing that?
Aressia, roll history.
What he said.
because she has orders.
Orders be
That's
damned.
stupid.
I'm
As
not the king.
do we.
I just want to put that out
I'm
there.
just
I am
saying.
not the leader of this. I am middle management. That's where I am. What is
Okay,
her history?
Karen.
What is... No, that's not good.
Vice.
So, Aressia,
Anorexia.
you've not been involved in a shit ton of like large scale operations. You've been involved in a lot of side things and smaller forces required to either infiltrate or resolve things quietly, that sort of thing. But outside of confirmed situations, you are aware that it is generally the standpoint that some sort of parley would be sought before a all-out attack. So in terms of them saying, have they not even thought of asking them if they're cool with a diplomatic victory? You would be aware that it's likely that before any kind of full-scale attack, some sort of attempt to converse would take place.
Okay.
Stereotypically, it would be the king in all-out skirmishes that does this. However, in your own mind, your heart of heart, you know that that's likely unrealistic in this environment, given that they've had the opportunity to not attack people in the Starver military, or just you guys at all. Every interaction you've had with the Wood Elves have been them firing arrows at you first, and then you doing something afterwards. So, whilst you're aware that it's likely that the king would look to have a conversation and then an all-out attack, you suspect that if a conversation is to take place, it at the very least won't be the king. Some sort of messenger will be sent.
Would I know who or like within the army would
Would
do
be
that
sent.
in King's place?
Somebody high enough that holds his respect. Probably somebody within the king's private guard. So there's the military, there's the local guard, the Starvan Guard. There's also a elite force referred to as the King's Guard, which are a smaller unit, smaller than the Starvan Guard itself, that their primary objective is to defend the king. and they accompany him in wartime. It would have been the King's Guard that went with the king to meet with the dwarves before the continuation into the Wandering Wood. And it'll be the King's Guard that generally hover around him at all times.
Okay.
So probably one of them. Who, you don't know. Why don't you...
I can just be vague.
Yeah, I mean, if you relay any of that, I'll have everyone roll history, but it's up to you whether or not you want to relay all of that.
Yeah, I'll relay all that because, you know...
Okay, then everyone roll history. Livia,
Yeah. I'm rolling
history. Okay.
it. I am too angry to remember anything.
Okay, Did you roll, Alessia? Was yours the 10? I don't think so, right?
Oh, you said everyone other than Orencia.
No,
I rolled...
including you.
Oh, I apologise.
So give me another roll for you. Let's see if you can beat
Yep,
19.
I do apologise.
Okay.
No!
Nemea, and Nemea only. You remember that, I believe, captain of the King's Guard is Gabriel
Of course.
Anderblath.
Yeah.
He is,
Gabriel Anderblath.
He's
Yes.
the son, isn't he?
He is the son of
Surely,
the king.
surely I would know that, though, in my position. And
You
the fact
would know that.
he was there
But it
when
doesn't.
we did the...
It doesn't come to your mind right now.
Even though me and Astros
Brain
did that
fart.
ceiling thing, he was part of that. Like, he was...
Getting bombarded with too many talks of peace.
You
It
know,
just seems like...
Shut.
you know he exists. You know he's part of the King's Guard. But in terms of like specifically trying to recall who would potentially take his place, you just know it would probably be King's Guard. It's the mayor who
Okay.
speaks up and goes, "It's probably going to be Gabriel."
Okay.
If you come up with it yourself, then I'm happy to go along with it. But when you don't come up with it yourself and then you roll shit on history, it's not something you remember.
Oh, I didn't know... Well, I didn't get the opportunity.
Aww. I'm
He's taking advantage of the newbie.
Boo!
Get a new DM.
DM. He's a DM, a downright meanie. That's right.
We all know Gabriel. You suck.
Get booed, noob.
He's an archangel, you noob. Anyway, Neme, you are reminded of the fact that Gabriel leads the King's Guard and he is the son of the king. That doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean that he is going to be the one to have these talks if they take place. But you're free to relay that information to the group should you so choose.
Yeah, I would relay that, and I
Okay.
would, as soon as I imagine for Arrestia, it'd be more of like a brain fart, being like, "Oh, the head of a, yeah, you know," it. And then I'd be like, "Gabriel and Anderblath." You'd be like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the
Most
same way,
likely.
Aresia, whilst her saying the name sort of jogs it in your mind, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be him. You're fully aware of who he is.
Just so I know, what's his title?
He is captain of the King's Guard.
Captain of the King's Guard and Prince.
He is Prince of Stalvin, yes. One of 3.
Mm.
Oh,
The king has
free
3
material
sons.
going around.
Two of them are wankers.
I'm
Is he
looking
the
to
eldest?
get married."
He is the eldest. He is 29. Theodore
And
is the middle
is
child.
he-
He's 23. And Logan is 21. They're also probably, by now, possibly all a year older.
Logan Schmoke.
Is Gabriel single?
You're on the hunt for a man.
What are
Uh,
you saying?
Come back to me.
Just roll odds or evens.
It says,
Odds or evens.
it says here, Gabriel, the eldest and the King's Guard captain, hates the peace and wants another war. That's
Oh,
all
no,
you
fuck
know
him,
of
no,
him.
this one. Okay, no. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, he's definitely single.
Yeah. Do you know, if he got laid, he might change his mind.
Maybe.
Or get rid of some pent-up rage.
It's
It
not-
is your duty to protect and serve.
Show him that gif.
No, because there'll be so many inserts put in. People be drawing over it like.
There will be.
It's a good thing you're not in front of Adam's green screen.
Could you imagine? Whoops. Sorry, so where were we in game? Oh, no, is saying Gabriel. Oh, yeah, he probably, yes. It's likely going to be Gabriel or one of his Force. I keep saying force. It's a
Everyone's a
popular word.
force here.
Yeah, everyone's a force.
All right.
Forced to be reckoned with.
Oh. So, I completely forgot what we were saying before all that.
So, you
oh
guys
yeah,
are
so
generally
Gabriel-
having this conversation in the
Yeah.
run-up to the collective approach on Silver Tomb. It seems as though it's coming to a close. It looks as though this may be the last evening before a gathering and then an attempt at some sort of...
So it's been explained to
Final
Taryn
thing.
and Livia and all of it, well, the group as a whole, that there will be attempt to negotiate and do
Yeah, if that's what you want to explain, you can relay that to the group and say that you're, words to the
From
effect
your
of you're
experience,
sure
it's
that...
likely to happen.
Yeah, some sort of conversation
yeah.
will be attempted
I'll
to
just
take
say there'll
place.
be an attempt before anything is done, all right? And it's up to the elves whether or not they want to accept that peace
Yeah.
This will
treaty
appease
or
me
otherwise.
and make me grumble slightly less.
Good.
She says from behind the mantle of a starboard encampment image. It's occasionally a chair.
She's
Sorry,
popped into another
I'm
tent.
here. My back's
The,
just
the
hurting. So I'm
proportion.
That's fine,
facing-
no,
She's
walk
like
around.
a giant walking through it. Sheer Goliath.
So,
Etten.
with that in mind, of the time we have left, much like previous evenings, you have some time to carry out any sort of practice or application of your various abilities that you so choose. It is worth saying at this point that the attack, if it could be called that, is planned for the morning, and that if you want to apply something now that will be applicable for the next day, I'm cool with that. We'll just say that you did it in the morning before joining the main force. With that in mind, given that Taryn, you've already done a whole bunch of shit, and Livia's already done a whole bunch of shit, and Orestia's already done a whole bunch of shit.
What did I do?
You already had a whole bunch of downtime stuff. I'm saying for the people that have concrete, filled-out professions, is there anything you want to apply that you don't need to worry about expiring before it's applicable?
Yeah. Can I can I cook a meal using my apprentice ability, please? And
That's the wrong thing.
give myself the energized bone, please. Is that
Okay.
possible?
Boon.
Bone.
I want a bone.
Want to get
So-
that bone?
You have learned to make a lighter meal from one main, side, and flavor ingredient, allowing the creature who consumes it to gain the energized boon, adding your proficiency to your next initiative check. It's worth saying that you can apply this as many times as you like, to as many people as you like, as long as you consume the ingredients for each one. So if you want to spend the time giving this to more people, and you have the ingredients to do so, and make sure you are marking off your ingredients as you use them, then you can.
I always do. Then I shall do so. There are how many? 5?
There are 5 of you.
5 of us. Wonderful. Okay, I'll get rid of these.
I don't want it.
What do you mean you don't want it?
Sometimes
want
it's better for clerics to go last.
I want a stodgy meal that keeps me grounded, please.
Okay, you don't want an energize.
No.
You have other abilities that require the same ingredients.
It's much better for
I
me
got the
to see
temporary
how
health.
things are
I got
looking
temporary health.
before I do anything.
Would you like to feel
Hardy.
more energized or hardy?
Oh, hardy, always. If I'm up, I keep
Hardy.
you guys up.
Wonderful.
And then I'm going to tap my armor.
Do you have 5 main, 5 side, and 5
do.
flavor ingredients?
I
Okay.
do.
Is
Yep.
this taking you
Shall
low?
shall
I
just,
assume it is.
shall I just ask the group what does everyone want?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you could say that you're going to make a hearty meal.
I'm
Sure.
yeah. I'm in the
Something
position,
better.
everyone, to make a more hearty meal to help our vitality, or
Something more lightweight and
something that will give us a bit of a boost. Since we've got such a busy morning.
I'd say with
Right.
certain flavorings, you could apply it differently as well if you want to cut some one way and cut the others the rest, so everyone can get what they want.
Yeah.
Vice.
Yes.
I'm not used to having such well-prepared meals. Normally I would eat a ration bar or something like that, so I completely trust your judgment. I would like it if if this was to be my last meal, I would like it to be something that Made me think of home. Can you manage something like that?
Where's home?
Do you want to know where she's from?
She's from Stalvin.
She's from Starvin.
She's part of the
Okay.
Stalvin military.
No, I didn't know if like she.
Not originally.
Well, yeah, strictly she's not from.
Yeah.
She's not born in
Not
Stalvin.
originally.
Yeah,
no.
where are your parents from?
So I and no, do you know what? I have that. Hang on.
Some classic standard city tavern meal.
I'm from a village
Standard
called.
city-
I'm called a
Tavern.
village called Orivus
Yes,
Okay.
Is it on the map?
originally.
it is on the map.
What is the what is the what is the dish of that village
Oh, it's very close.
location?
We're very fond of potatoes.
oh,
Potatoes. Okay, fine.
I'm
Okay.
very fond of
I can
potatoes.
do that.
potatoes.
And if you can make
Right.
them buttery and fluffy, oh,
I
In before,
Little
what's
bit.
Tato's precious?
So, do you want
Okay.
hardiness or swiftness?
hardiness or swiftness.
Vice, I trust you.
Okay, fine. I'm just
I
gonna,
have something I need to do. I'll be
Okay.
back shortly.
I'm gonna make you like yeah.
Okay, cool. I got you,
I
Aressia.
need some energy.
Wait,
So,
Sweet, sweet.
Vice, can you please give me 5 cooking checks? Actually,
What?
fuck that. Do me 1. That's it. 5's too many. It'll take ages. Do 1.
do I not get?
Bad for you if you roll that
It's
one.
a D20 plus proficiency.
I know. I'm just checking something. Okay.
How much food do you have left, by the way? Because you should
Uh,
probably be marking off stuff that's definitely rotted by now.
I basically have enough for this. I've had salt.
Okay, cool.
A lot of salt.
Well, salt's
I've
not
had a
going
lot-
off. You don't need to worry about
And
salt.
I've had a lot of cured meat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 'cause you
Cured
have-
meat only lasts a month, though.
How long has it been? Has it not been? It's been less than a month.
It's been less than a month since
And I cured it before we went to the.
Yeah, just before we left.
just
Yeah.
before you went to
Before
the
we-
hag's house.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then you're fine. It's been about 2 weeks since that point.
Wonderful.
And
So
the
that's-
eggs are within the last 2 weeks. You could definitely use those.
Yeah, the eggs
Yeah,
are fine.
I've used them. So that's fine. So eggs and cured meat and salt.
Okay.
Potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and potatoes. There you go. I'll get rid of my potatoes. They're done.
That was my,
No more potatoes. No
I
more
imagine-
potatoes.
And potatoes.
My Irish coming in.
Yeah.
More potatoes.
I imagine most.
My
person-
thought there was if this was actually my last meal, I would totally want mashed potatoes involved. So,
I
I
love
was
mashed
like,
potatoes.
Sure.
mm.
Okay, cool. And I would like to, just for shits and giggles, because I need to use it or else it's gone. It pretty much. How long would milk last?
A week and a bit? Like.
Oh, okay, they're all gone then. Fuck it. Here we go. Cool. So you want proficiency, yeah? All right, lovely. Okay.
Sevi, you know you've changed it so we can see you all the time now, right?
Yeah, well, I felt rude not being on cam all
Okay,
the
it's
time.
fine.
It looks like I'm not here when I am.
No, it's all good.
I like your summer dress.
Thanks, it was £4.
Oh,
Okay.
bargain. That's good. A good looking dress.
So, Vice, you're able to apply the boons without any sort of additional benefit or sacrifice. So, what do you have, Vice? Energized or
I am
well
having
fed?
energized, please.
So you have advantage on your next initiative check. Taran, advantage or double proficiency added to temp health?
I want that initiative.
Okay, I am reading that
Initiative.
right, Vice, right? It's initiative, yeah?
You are, yeah. Initiative, yeah.
Oh, am I?
I think it's.
No,
adding
you
your
add
proficiency
proficiency
to
to your next initiative. It's not
Yeah.
advantage. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you-
you
yeah.
add proficiency to your next
proficiency
initiative.
bonus.
Livia, you taking initiative or well fed?
Well fed.
Okay,
What does
so
that
you
mean?
get double proficiency in temp health.
Oh, so that's 6.
Yep. Aressia, proficiency or sorry, not proficiency, initiative or temp health.
Temp health.
Okay, so you get 6 temp health. Nemea,
Potatoes.
temp health or
Temp
initiative?
health.
Temp health. So you get 6
Temp
temp
health. I want a
health.
hearty meal.
That's cool. So you all eat Vice's food. Aressia, you eat it and then head out on your solo mission. It's well made. It's certainly better than a ration pack. It's some of the nicer food that you've had recently. It certainly brings you back to more times of like being back in home in Stalvin. Or you guys eating in Stalvin before you reached the Heart of Dawn and ended up getting imprisoned. And less of the grotesque nature of the Hag's house, which is the only other place that you've seen food outside of ration packs in recent days.
That was not food.
Yeah, food in like speech marks. Aressia, Without much hassle, you're able to find Buxom, the dwarf that is considered a sort of mid-tier enchanter. He kind of sees you coming over and just like hails you as he seems to be fucking around with some sort of small gem.
Mm-hmm. Am I acquainted with him already?
Yeah, I think you spoke with Buxom. You were definitely there when the mayor said about.
I don't think I was. I
Were you
think I
not?
was,
Oh, you were the
no,
chicken.
no,
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll history with advantage.
this is not my role. No. But anything other than that.
What were you
A
trying?
zero.
With advantage, though, you might get better.
I'll have to get better than
Yeah,
zero.
better.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could roll the
12.
same, but so you remember the rough description that Nemea spoke about some dude that was teaching her enchanting for a week, but you aren't overly familiar with him other than that. You don't
Okay.
remember his last name, for example.
All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I've not actually interacted with him prior to now.
If you have, it wasn't remarkable.
All right. Okay. Excuse me, Buxom.
Hey, that's me. How can I help?
I don't believe we've really spoken at length before. I'm Lieutenant Erezia Godwin. I hope you don't mind. I was hoping to get a little bit of information from someone knowledgeable in the magical arts.
Okay.
And I understand that to be yourself. I would like it if what I'm about to ask stays between us.
That's
It's a
fine.
personal matter. I have heard that there may be magics out there that are able to detect if someone is living or dead. Are you aware of such magics, or are you capable of any such magics?
Well, there are a fair amount of various magics that could do things like that. You could detect whether something is malevolent or something like that. You could look to converse with the dead. You say living or dead. You're not certain.
If I can speak candidly, there is someone I have believed to be dead for some time, and I may have been mistaken in that, and I just need to know for sure.
Okay.
Is that something you're able to help me with? I heard from another mage that there are spells to focus on living beings, and if it fails, they're presumed dead. Do you know of anything like that? I'll be honest. Going into this impending war, I would like to know before I go out into the battlefield.
Well, you could scry on somebody if you wanted to see what they're doing. It's quite a difficult spell. I think I could just about master it, or muster it rather. I'm no master, but it's probably a bit of the reaches of my skill level. But I tried it once before. It didn't
Did it
work. No, but but I could try it again if you've got some coin for some of the materials.
What materials would you need?
Well, and he goes into like a small box that he has nearby. Just let me check this. As he's kind of bent over looking into a chest that he's opened up, he kind of calls back over his shoulder. He's like, who are we looking to get in touch with?
My mother.
Okay, so what is your relationship? You knew her well, or
Well, up until I thought she had died, I was very close to her. She was my mother and best friend, although for the last 21 years I've believed her to be dead. I just want to make sure I was correct in that.
okay?
Would my blood help you?
Honestly, it's a bit early to be bringing blood into it, but I mean,
just-
do you have something of hers or something like that? I mean, if blood's
Well,
all
we
you've
share
got,
the-
well,
We share the same DNA. I mean, I don't know what. I don't have. Hang on. The only thing I have is, aside from my blood, I have something that we played with on our last day together. I have these dice, but they weren't hers. They were a gift to me, and we played with them together. And aside from that, I have nothing. But I need to know. I need to know if she's alive or dead. I need to know if I'll meet her in the afterlife or if I will go home to her after this war. I need to know.
So they weren't her dice. They're more, well, they're your dice.
They're mine. They were given to me by by her brother.
She's touched them, though.
Yes, she has.
That may help.
I love the unsurety.
Bear with me.
Maybe.
What coin do you need? What materials do you need? What do you need from me to make this happen?
Well, mostly I need to check if I've got some things, because there's a fair few things that are needed here. I'm not, I'm more of an enchanter. I use gems and the like, and he kind of holds up a diamond to you, and he's like, these are hard to come by, and, well, that's mostly what I use. I'm not, I don't
How
have a
many
lot
would
of
you
items.
need? How many would you need?
Well, I don't need any gems for this sort of thing, but,
Oh,
that's what I mean. I mostly use these, so I'm just checking that I've got everything else. And he's like, you see him put like a mirror to the side that has like a silver frame, and he has a small flask that just looks like it contains some sort of clear liquid. And he's like, oh, okay, that's not bad. And he pulls out the water with the thing. I was like, I've probably got a bowl around. And he gets up and goes over to where he was eating before. And you see him pick up like
I
a
love
bowl,
this guy.
and he scrapes out his food and just sort of dumps it onto the ground. He like takes a spoonful and then dumps the rest onto the ground, puts it out, and he like uncorks the liquid and pours it into the bowl. And he's like, not quite, but it'll probably do.
I'm just looking a bit
Yeah.
quizzically.
Sure. Bear with me.
And then everything blows up.
Did she have anything that maybe we could focus on a specific item rather than the woman herself? I didn't know her. Obviously you know her, but outside of your blood, we don't really have much of her. Do you know anything that she has on her person that we could focus on?
Well, she used to wear this beautiful opal pendant. I was meant to receive it when I turned 16. But she used to wear it. I thought that the day she died it had been taken, but I may be wrong.
Okay, so I don't want to fuck this up for you. It takes some time, and it's, as I say, it may not go through anyway, and it's probably all I can do today, especially with later on today we're going to be pretty fucking busy. And he kind of looks over into the forest a little bit more in the sort of direction that you guys have been marching. He looks back at you and he says, I wouldn't want to focus on something that I'm then gonna... Well, let's put it this way. You say she used to have this item.
She wore it every day, up until the day she died.
Oh, so she's not alive.
I need to find out if she is or not.
I don't... Well,
Can you do it or not?
I can do something. If she's dead, the chances are that this necklace has been sold on or pawned or something if you don't have it. So, do you know what? Let's go with the blood.
Okay. How much do you need?
Probably not a lot. As I say, I've only done this once
gallon?
before, and it didn't go
Where-
well.
Where do you want it?
Well, just let me check a couple things. And he pulls out, he goes back into the box. He's like, oh good, I thought that was fucked. And he pulls out a small crystal ball. And then he pulls out like a small twig. But inlaid with some gems. Like, as it gets thicker at the end, it has, like, some gems shoved into the end. And he pulls it out and he's like, oh, this was not my finest work. And he puts it down and he looks back at you
We're
and he's like,
the highest ranking mage here.
well,
I say that respectfully.
oh, certainly. Most of the mages that we've taken on, or any of the magic users that the military recruited before we left, they're mostly in their infancy, purely because it was outlawed for so long. I served with the military before I got into enchanting, and as a result, I just stopped talking about enchanting for a while, and just served as a soldier for a bit. I had some friends. They didn't kick me out or turn me in or anything, and I mostly just said that I didn't know too much. Kind of flew under the main gaze for a while, because that other word doesn't exist. And, you know, that's why I'm probably some of the most proficient mages around, but a little bit out of practice.
Well, you've done marvellous work with the mayor, the tiefling in my squad.
Oh, you know her?
Yes, she's one of mine.
She belongs to me.
Oh, she did well. Good student. I didn't take very long. It usually takes a lot longer than that to train somebody to that level.
Well, you know, partly down to her and partly down to yourself. So,
Oh, thank you very much. Bleed on this. And he holds out the twig. It's more, I would say twig. It's more like a sort of early ended branch. As you can see, several gems have been like shoved through the end, so that it has some worth.
I'm going to draw the siphon sword as he's doing that, and just cut it across my hand and squeeze it where he tells me to drop it.
So you take 2 points of damage as you bleed.
For a cut?
You cut it, but then you like squeeze it so that it bleeds an amount that kind of peppers this thin branch, this sharpened off branch. You see your blood kind of splatter on 3 gems. There's like a jade gem, a kind of green, like a ruby, a kind of red, and like a diamond, a sort of clear gem. And
sorry, quick question: does that too come off my temp health or my current health?
temp.
Okay. And hang on, this sorry, just aside from this, Vice's meals, is this the night before, or are we going to be having long
This
rest?
is the morning. You've got this,
this is the
and
morning.
then we're
Okay,
going
just make
today.
sure.
Yeah. So
Great.
the
I'm just
attack
making
is
sure we don't
today.
lose that.
This is the morning. This is just before the attack, essentially.
Okay.
Which means I do need to probably jump it forwards in date, and I need to move this back. Here we go. Move this back to an earlier time. So by the end, all of this shit goes down, and like some sort of moving into skirmish position is about to begin. It's going to be about 10 a.m. So this spell's quite complicated, and it takes a fair bit of time, a bit of familiarity, and we don't really have that, but we'll do my best.
How familiar do you need us to get?
Well, as familiar as possible, but it sounds like all you've got of her is your blood.
Please. Just do your best.
I will say, if she's dead, or if the spell just fails, well, it'll fail. So, I mean, that's good and bad. If it fails, it may have just failed. Maybe she's fine. Or she could be dead.
Let's just do it.
So, he sits down and plumps himself down. And he brings the bowl of water in front of him. And he holds a sort of very small crystal ball. He has a silver inlaid mirror that used to have the handle, but the handle's been snapped off. And he puts it down next to the bowl of water. He takes the crystal ball and he plops it in the water, and then he lays it on the mirror. He takes the kind of wand type object inlaid with the gems and coated in your blood. And he rests it over all of the items whilst kind of holding one end, and he closes his eyes. A decent portion of time passes. It's like a few minutes of you just watching him kind of hold this thing. At one point, having like held it over the objects for so long, he kind of holds it up and leans it out in front of him, but nothing happens. 3 or 4 more minutes go by. You see people that were previously not as heavily armored strapping on bits of armor, putting on shoulder pieces and I want to say pauldrons. Pauldron is a shoulder piece, right? Someone? Yeah, pauldron.
That's a new word for me.
And you see the people around you kind of armoring up, weaponing up. So I was going to turn this off. I didn't realize you were in here. And seemingly the air is going sort of stiller. For you, as you focus on this incantation, and for everyone as they begin to prepare for this upcoming war that has been on the horizon for so long, a lot of people seem to be, shaking hands, clasping wrists as they do so, and possibly saying farewell to brothers in arms that they've served with up until this time. A lot of them recruits and early ranking members of the military as a result of it having to be bolstered so quickly following the abolishment of the outlawing of magic in Stalvin. And about 10 minutes go by before Buxom, this enchanter dwarf, seated as he is, sort of awkwardly, almost cross-legged, but unable to fully get in the position on the muddy grass in front of you, surrounded by thick, tall trees, so tall and leafy at this point that the sun barely gets through at all. Even this early in the day, it could be close to night as far as you're concerned. For a moment, he stops focusing on the objects in front of him and closes his eyes. And it's around when you consider to be the end of this incantation that he closes his eyes and begins to mutter some things. And as you're focusing on him, he knows you're kind of there around him, but it seems as though he's, even with his eyes closed, it seems as though he's seeing something else. And he says to you, "It's silent, I'm not... Something's worked." And in that time, it kind of like annoyingly bothers you that he's not being all that conversational in describing what he supposedly sees. And he's like, "No, I think this is right."
What? What's worked? What's right?
I don't know. I think I'm on her, but I can't see her properly. She's looking out in front of big stone doors set into like a mountainside. She doesn't seem well. She's not injured, but she's exhausted.
Alive? Is that what you're telling me?
She seems to be. She's moving. The spell wouldn't work if she was dead.
Where? Stone wall, stone doors, mountains. What can you tell me?
I don't know. I don't really recognize it. They're huge. The mountains, they go, and he kind of like, he moves his head with his eyes closed still, and he like tries to look up, and he's like, I can't control my viewpoint. It's difficult. I think it's they're huge mountains. I've not seen the likes of them anywhere across Bela'Dun. This is not the south. There's some sort of almost runic carvings on the doors. They're massive. This is some grand entrance to somewhere. Oh no. No.
What?
Fuck! And then he like
What?
opens his eyes and he turns back to you and he's like, "I'm sorry, lass. I lost it. She's gone. That's all I got."
She's alive then.
She certainly seems to be. Like I say, it doesn't work if they're dead. Maybe that's what happened the first. Maybe they were dead. I think I've done this right both times.
Buxom, thank you so much for your assistance. I want you to take this for your trouble, and I'm just going to reach into my backpack and give him the 4 gold I got from the Hag's Hutch.
Okay. He takes it and is just like, "Oh, thank you,
Oh,
Lieutenant.
man.
That's I'll put it to good use."
Thank you again, Buxom, and I'm sure I don't need to remind you if this could stay between us.
Oh, yeah, they probably shouldn't have been shouting and whatnot when I was doing that. Sorry.
It's fine. I'll find a way of explaining that away.
I think
Just-
everybody's
Who was it?
preoccupied. You're probably fine.
Yeah. Well, listen. Please take care of yourself and stay safe and make sure you get home to your loved ones.
Bella.
And to you,
And-
best of luck. I'm not on the front line, so I don't envy you.
Still doesn't mean you should take that for granted. Anyway, good day, Buxom. And I'm going to leave and return to
Forever.
the group.
Okay.
Ah, no.
Oh man, I'm so glad I didn't have my mic on, man. That cracks me up.
She
Oh,
returns to Taryn trying to kill Agatha once again.
Leave that chicken alone. Yeah, so I'm going to return to the group, but I'm not really going to say anything. I'm going to be a bit distant and preoccupied.
Okay. Much like the mayor is at this point. So,
I imagine I'm still quite preoccupied in my own thoughts as well. I'm mumbling quite heavily at this point.
I noticed the fact that everyone seems to be preoccupied, and
I'm fine. I'm eating eggs.
I wonder what the hell's happened to the group. Like, why is everyone so miserable? Right now? I mean, I understand the situation, but
It's a very tense situation,
Gosh.
Vi. There's a lot happening.
Aresia,
Mm.
as you
Solitaire,
walk
you alright?
back, you pass Asteros.
Mm-hmm.
Asteros.
4 players.
Asteros is going the opposite direction to you. And he kind of stops you. And you can see, like, in his face, he kind of wants to wish you well or shake your hand or something, but, like, almost thinks better of it. And having kind of half stopped you and you kind of half stopped him, he, like, gives you, like, as close to a head nod as you can get without, like, much movement and just walks on past.
Sergeant. Does he turn around?
Yeah, he stops.
I know that we haven't always seen eye to eye, and I want you to know, just ahead of this war, that I wish things had been different. I hope you
Feels.
stay safe. And then I nod and turn away.
He never fully turned around to you when you did stop him. He sort of like half turned. And after you say this and he starts to hear footsteps, he continues to walk.
Okay.
Okay. So, a small amount of time passes. And it seems as though the preparations before this battle have taken place. All able-bodied fighters are able to form up for the final push through to this skirmish. The intent, as Aresia has described to you before, is to essentially take out as much of the elven forces opposing you as possible, to to destroy any sort of siege weaponry that they have in some kind of defensive position. It's not your... it's not... it is common knowledge that wood elves would not set up like trebuchets and the like. They're not a race, and elves in general are not a race to rely on engineering in such a way. It's more likely that they would lean towards magics or natural things, like spike traps or something like that. They're probably not going to like rain down napalm from a fucking airplane on you or something like that. But it's been described that they have some sort of defensive weaponry. What that looks like, you guys don't know until you come across it. The intention is to fight this force, destroy whatever this defensive weaponry is, and then if there is any sort of order to do so, move on past them and get to the next stage, which is to take the city, or as much of it as possible. I'm going to move you to the map.
You do that.
And if you're on Twitch, do not be on Twitch anymore, because there is a lot on the GM layer that I don't want you to see.
Ooh.
Okay.
We got numbers.
Yeah.
So, you should be seeing half a map, roughly.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are blue with numbers.
Well, we have numbers.
You have numbers, so you're blue 1 to 5 in the
Oh,
bottom
yeah.
right.
Oh yeah, there we are.
The rest of the
you're number
blue
2.
forces are Starver military forces. This is not the entirety of the Starver military force. This is just your portion of the fight, moving through the woods and attempting to tackle the forces in opposition. What you can see on the map in terms of what I have shown to you on the like in terms of deleting the fog of war is what you can currently see from your point. And it's fair to assume, like I mentioned earlier, that there are many more trees than this map suggests. But for the purposes of combat, the map is accurate. The big S is the Stalvan symbol. This is the King's forces and the King's Guard, including his son. They're further back than this on the battlefield, but I just wanted to mark that they are essentially there in roughly the middle of this skirmish. So you guys are slightly to the right. There are more forces past you as you went further right and as you go further left as well, but they're on a map that you can't see from your position. So, what will happen shortly will be we're going to have to, because there's going to be a lot that goes down in quick succession, we're going to have to deal with it very quickly, which means if you take too long to do your turn, I'm probably going to skip your turn.
Ooh. Sorry,
Yeah.
I got like the one move.
If I ask you what you want to
have
do
not.
or how you react and you take way too long to react, I'm probably going to need to move on to what happens rather than what you were trying to do because you took too long and it was a reaction. What I will say, in complete opposite to that and in a real bullshit do as I say and not as I do, those rules probably won't apply to me as I try and make this work as I need to make it work. However, given that we have reached almost 10 to 10, I think we're going to have to leave this for next week.
Oh no!
Oh,
come on.
Man, it's like
we're
it's
too
like
close.
Come on, big
Man.
teaser.
The ultimate
Cliffhanger,
weapon.
man.
like freaking
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, mate. Come on, man. Just keep the battle. Come on.
So,
Oh, Lord.
you are at
This
the
is where the
edge.
group cut out Erezia for delaying things.
And Game of Thrones was the complete opposite. They wrote
Yeah.
out way too much.
You're amazing.
No, it's cool. It's cool. It's
Bullshit,
cool
man.
because it means that tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Yeah,
I mean, it
next
could-
Tuesday.
Yeah,
I mean, tomorrow if you want, like,
Yeah,
it
if
means
everyone
that
wants
we
to
will
get back
pick
together.
a fresh mind.
Yeah,
Fresh.
I do like. I do like. I worry when we start combat like really late because I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna
Yeah, we
forget
don't.
this.
We,
rush it.
we certainly don't have time for it. Everyone that can see the
It's
stream
gonna
right
be
now is
awful.
seeing what you guys are up against, and like, please do not look at the stream or watch the video, you guys, because I've put it in the fog of war on purpose so that it's not all at once. And yeah, we will see what that looks like as the Starver military assaults the forces defending Silvertomb next Tuesday.
Oh my god.
In the meantime, thank you
Twice
guys for
free.
watching. Catch you all hopefully
Thank
next
you very much,
Tuesday.
guys.
Goodbye,
See you there.
stream.
Wow.
Bye
Everyone.
bye.